Gonna make you squeam. Oh wait. Oh shit. Wait. Oh yeah. There's too many things. Pop out chat. There we go. H-Town in the building. What's H-Town? Honolulu. The Himalayas. Is that where you're from? Is that H-Town? Yeah. Okay. Closing that part. Alright, sorry. Just getting myself organized here. How is everybody doing today? Today, we are doing super well. Hello, comrades. Comrades. Comradians. Comrats. Since rats will be the only thing you get to eat. Tree Flesh with the 5. Freestyle King. Freestyle King with the swing. Search everything up on motherfucking Bing. You think I can't sing? Well, let me put a ring on your finger, and we can marry the lyrics and the flow. Don't let it linger. I hear that cash money go bling. It goes chinger, ching, 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 ching. This is so bad. Chris, you've arrived. Thank God. I was like, where's Chris? Where the fuck is Chris? He's late. He's late with his first comment. You've been waiting for this moment all day. Good, good. Me too. Chingy, ching, ching. Casey with the 10. Thank you guys. Out the gate with these donos. Appreciate it. It says, what's crack-a-lackin'? Yo, we just pro-lackin'. Pro-trackin'. Lips be smackin'. Big game, we trackin'. Reading game, I ain't slackin'. Balls, we sack tappin'. You were having withdrawals. Have there been any stories too disturbing to post? I don't think too disturbing, because I mean it's definitely within the realm of like the true crime stuff and things like that definitely get touched upon quite a bit. Prolapsing. But there's some that, like, you know, where people have like really hyper specific, you know, things that they want to say that, like, either in their opinions or like their, I don't know, something that might like hyper generalize people groups and stuff like that, that I think is just not very conducive to like community, you know what I mean? Community. Philanthropy. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Live screams. Welcome to the first ever live scream. Give us an ooh woo, ooh woo, ow wow, oh wow, ooh woo. Can I get a ooh woo? You can't sleep without me. Good. Generalize me, daddy. Generalize me. All right, you're generally very beautiful and generally very kind-hearted and sweet. Like when people say that in stories, I'm like, nope. That's It's very rude. It's very rude not to say everyone's beautiful, sexy kitten. Oh, Broken Kitty with the 5 says, I always so happy when a new video comes out or when you stream. Much love, Joel. Thank you, Broken Kitten. Thank you, kitten. Playing some Red Dead Online, chilling here. Red Dead Online. It's so weird. Like, play like Halo, and I don't know if anybody's playing the new Halo Infinite a little bit. I mean, it's essentially Halo if you're into that kind of thing. But it gets, I don't know, I just like wish Red Dead's online like multiplayer would have been, I just wish the controls would be way more sick nasty, like a first person shooter, responsive, you know. Yo, FFYN with a 20 super good dollarina says, ooh, will. Hello, Joel. Hello, Mario. Thank you. All the way from Singapore. Ever been to Hawaii? I went to Hawaii back in 2017, I think. Around like May or something like that. I went to Oahu. Me and my friend pretty much just made it a bit of a, like our routine was essentially just trying different restaurants, going to like a new hiking spot, and then going to a different beach every day, which was cool. And I told this story before, but we found this, like, it was crazy. It was like, imagine like a cul-de-sac, you know, type little neighborhood, pretty modern and new, but it's like right up against the sort of jungle-esque nature that is Hawaii, very much like Jurassic Park. And like within 5 minutes, you know, the trail that we were on was like so filled with mud that my Crocs that I was wearing, thank God I even wore them, were getting like stuck in the mud, and like I'd pull out and my like foot would be the only thing to make its way out. But we made it to a waterfall, and there was like, oh my God, it was like a 50-foot drop into this like waterfall slash like just sinkhole thing that we jumped into. And yeah, I don't know, if somebody like built like a step at the way top, and you just like had to like balance there and just jump off. And it was just like the most nerve-wracking thing ever. If I didn't see somebody else do it, I probably wouldn't have jumped. But yeah, it doesn't matter how many times I do like cliff jumping shit. It's just always terrifying. Did I hear Lazy Masquerade got married? I did. I was very happy for him. Very, very happy for him. And I'm happy he's doing well. His channel's popping off all the time with really quality content. And he just seems like just a generally happy person. Living his best life. Do you have any personal scary stories? Here and there. You're from the west side of Oahu. It's definitely interesting. I feel like I would get like maybe cabin fever a little bit, like not being able to at least like drive somewhere else, you know what I mean? Because like the island itself, it's like you can go from one end to the other within, I think, like an hour or two. But at the same time, it's not like I venture too far from where I am here, so maybe people are just kind of used to it. Joel, you're in Lazy's channel is my top favorites. Thank you. The terror is on point. What YouTube channels do I watch in my free time? Not many, to be honest with you. I watch a lot of like random, just like I watch like NFL like highlights lately because it's the season. But I don't really have too many like YouTube channels that just like keep my attention. I'll listen to some to like fall asleep and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's like people tell me to watch stuff or like that kind of thing, and I feel like I need to like, I've just been really interested in making music lately, and I haven't started, so that's exciting. I like to talk about stuff that I haven't even tried yet. You're an island boy. Island boy. We out here. But I don't know. I just find like the consuming of video content, and unless it's like with friends, I enjoy doing that, just to comment together and stuff. That's more entertaining to me than like individually watching it. Otis Gyri, oh yeah, Otis is great. There's so many like good narration channels that get like slept on, you know what I mean? I'd love to have Otis on sometime to read something, but I think I asked like years ago about a collaboration, but you know what I mean? Like we just, different things going on at the time, and I'd love to have Otis on. I know he kind of like works for Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. You know the business of music is right up your alley. Let me know if you need anything. Yeah, what do you, oh wait, Chris is, yeah, you're the one that coordinates those festivals and stuff, which is sick. Do you make music yourself, or do you want to play deep rock later? I do, yeah. Rock and stone, baby, rock and stone. We listen to you to fall asleep. Who do you listen to fall asleep? Oh yeah, Sleepception. I listen to you guys as you listen to me. I listen to you breathe in your bed. I fall asleep to your snores, and sometimes you whimper a little bit when you're having a bit of a nightmare, but I always come over and stroke your hair, make it a little bit better for you. You usually go right to sleep, unless you open your eyes and scream bloody murder when you see me. In which case I evaporate into dust and disappear. Joel, can you script for us? What's scripting? I work at a bar and it's full of scrippers. Can we hear your best Creepy Presents podcast voice? Creepy Presents? I don't know who's Creepy Presents. Creepy Prevent. Creepy Prevention. You'd be choking on your drool in your sleep. I had like a weird, I don't know, dream last sleep where I can't even remember it, but it just scared me because something grabbed hold of my hand and it was like slowly edging closer to like suck on my fingers or something like that, but I didn't know what it had planned, but I woke up just from my heart going fast. Different scripums. Joel, become a sleep paralysis monster. I am. I sit, whenever you guys kind of feel like heavy on your chest, it's just me like sitting there on all fours, crouched on your sternum. Sometimes I fart and you feel the vibration. Consider myself hugged. Thank you. Just found a creepy story called Alan Tutorials. Yeah, Alan is the best. Alan was on, what was Alan on? Alan was on Adult Swim quite a few times with different stuff, and I think he's working on something else, but yeah, Alan Resnick puts a heck of a lot of work into his stuff. David De La Rosa Jr. with the 10 says, "Hi buddy, love the Hank Hill." Thank you, yeah. That was a nice outro to do. I feel like I always have much funnier stuff at the end of videos when I do live streams with them. But the thing I noticed since I've started live streams, my views are kind of like going down quite a bit, and it might just be because of like spooky season. But it is what it is. I enjoy these quite a bit. But yeah, click like, click share. Just click anything. Just click any button on your keyboard and just mash them around till something happens. And that'll make me happy. How can you grow a YouTube channel? Well, collaborations are good. A friend of mine kind of recently started a true crime channel, and he puts I mean, you gotta, first off, at the end of the day, your content at least has to be like of value to somebody, you know? Or like up the ante on like a different, maybe genres, like what maybe another creator's doing something, but you want to do the same stuff, but you just like change it up and make it valuable. Anyways, yeah, like a friend of mine just started a true crime channel, and he puts a ton of crazy edits into it and just makes it like, I don't know, it's like almost like the TikTok of true crime, but the videos are like 40 minutes long, you know what I mean? And like it just keeps your attention the whole time. And I don't know, like basically what happened with him is like he was reaching out to other people to help promote him, But at the same time, he recently had a video that started to like blow up and is at like 111,000 views right now. And you know, YouTube's algorithm works where like the more people that subscribe based on one video is the more views that it will get, you know what I mean? So it continues to push it. And I looked at his channel, and he recently has been getting like 1,000 subscribers a day, and he, you know, he more or less just started. But the fact that he put so much effort into his like true crime stuff, is putting out videos, I'd say at like giving time for the other videos to do well, you know what I mean? I don't know, it doesn't like oversaturate his viewer base, you know what I mean? You and your boyfriend fall asleep to me every night, thank you. Courtney has been a mischievous dog and a member of the Buttersock Cult for 9 months. That's crazy. That's enough for a pizza baby to gestate. Well, Courtney, if you didn't know, there is bonus content available for you. Bar Yafi, thank you. Love you too. Thank you for listening. But yeah, hopefully Fry can link that to you. Anybody that becomes a member immediately gets access to the bonus content. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should only like promote the bonus content during live streams, because I do it on like the community page and like people get like angry, you know. I don't know, it's weird. People are weird. They didn't even know like there was like a secret pathway somewhere that like you had to pay $5 to get into, and then as soon as you say that it exists, you as soon as you say it exists, they get like pissed that they don't have it, or they didn't even know it was even around. You need a mentor for YouTube. Yeah, I mean, like I had my roommates, like they taught me how to use like editing software and how to just like do basic things, but it's, you know, a lot of the times, I mean, there is a degree of luck, you know what I mean? Just right time, right place, like for a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? Like people who do true scary story stuff, like they really blew up. If they got to it early enough, they really blew up in the beginning, you know? And then maybe they found another niche that, you know, they were sort of at the frontier of. And that's the thing, is like, don't be afraid to try new things and be different and put yourself out there. Obviously, if you want to do something long term, you have to like enjoy it, you know? It can be very exhausting sometimes, and also very lonely. Who makes my animations and drawings? Yeah, so Anthony Salinas recently made that SpongeBob thumbnail you probably saw, Art of Salinas. That was linked in that video if you're looking for his stuff. But Robin Mikalsen usually does my... Well, actually, this one on screen here is done by Space Goose with 3 O's. He's really good. And but yeah, Robin Mikalsen does most of my thumbnails and that kind of thing. But yeah, YouTube is like one big collaboration, you know what I mean? Like I can't pump out art like that or pump out music that you're listening to right now, you know. I'm pretty much just the voice and, you know, coordinating everything for myself. Oh yeah, it does tell you how long you've been a member, which is pretty sweet. If you like re-up it, I think that's pretty new, to be honest, at least for YouTube. It's so hard to cry on Lexapro. Just let the tears flow. T-1 minute and we'll kick these off. We're gonna be reading some true scary homeless stories again. If you guys remember the last rendition, it's a mixture of different stuff. It's mainly like people that were homeless and their experiences. Sarah from England, it's 2:30 in the morning here. My dog just woke me up and your voice is the best thing to help me get back to sleep. Oh yes, let's send you back there. Who made your music? That's from Simon DB. I think he's linked in the description, but he also remasters my podcast audio as well. Lexa bro. Marisha Williams with a 5, or Marisha, hopefully I pronounced it right, says hype. Thank you. Let's get hypey, aka ready to relax. Y'all want a bite of my chicken? How old am I? I am 31 years old. Born in June So, how long has it been? Oh yeah, we're almost at December, so 31 and a half. Avery is alive or dead? Well, you'll have to find out. Avery had to choke it first. Alright, let's switch on over to our spooky reading screen. Guys, thanks again for being here. The background music, the creepily here, usually in every video, is from Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. He seems to be popping off lately too. I mean, I think he gets like at least 10 to 20,000 listens every time he makes something, which is pretty sick. I was happy to see that because when I first started using his stuff, it was my birthday June 5th. No, it's June 4th, so just right before. Birthday next door neighbors. Anyways, thanks for being here, guys. We're gonna kick it off. Like I said, get comfortable. Share this out if you would be so kind. Tell your friends. Sometimes YouTube doesn't want to tell nobody. But that's okay. Because we're happy to have you here. 10 scary stories about getting some bitches. Yeah, those aren't true. I was a bad kid. And no, I'm not talking about your regular teenage delinquency like trying cigarettes, school detentions, or getting bad grades. I mean really bad. By age 17, I was shoplifting, stealing cars, getting picked up by cops for all sorts of things. Not exactly hurting anyone, but I was a constant headache for my mom and dad. Then after me and Dad almost got into an actual fistfight, they kicked me out of the house. I know I deserved it, and I know they figured I'd just go stay with friends for a couple of days because that's exactly what I did. But me being me, I quickly wore out my welcome at my buddies' houses and ran out of places to stay. But again, me being me, I was way too proud to just go home and apologize. Since it was summertime, I figured it'd be a good idea to head down to the park to find somewhere to sleep. Now, I lived in the inner city back then, so there was a bunch of other actual homeless people already sleeping there. And as soon as I realized I was actually stuck out there for a night, I started to realize that this homeless thing wasn't a game anymore. As it started to get really late, I got to the park at around 11 p.m., and it was like 1 a.m. by the time this happened. One of the homeless dudes walked up to me as I started to bed down on a bench and started talking to me. He asked what I was doing, and being naive, I told him, I'm homeless. He immediately responded by saying, no you're not, and pretty much guessed the whole deal about me having a falling out with my mom and dad. I didn't want to admit that he was exactly right, so I just kept my mouth shut, but I remember him saying something like, really though kid, if you have kin, you need to pay him a visit because I promise, you ain't ready for this life. My pride kept me out there for 3 whole nights, and every single time I curled up on that bench, the same old homeless dude would walk up and be like, go home, kid. This ain't you. In hindsight, he was exactly right, but at the time, he was just another person to prove wrong. My final night on the streets also happened to be the first that I tried to ingratiate myself with the homeless folk who slept in the park, partially out of boredom, partially out of hunger. My final night on the streets also happened to be the first time that I tried to ingratiate myself with the Oh, he just said that. I'm stupid. Oops. Whoopsie daisies. Letty Ramos with you. Thanks for reading, Joel. You're welcome, Letty. Thanks for being here. Joel ASMR got me like, hoo-yah, hoo-yah, hoo-yah. Extra spicy today, let's go. It's that winter voice, all sorts of dried out. I'm not looking forward to fucking winter, man. It's like that fucking vampire movie, like 30 Days of Night, or whatever that was. Joel be glitching? Do I really be glitching? I try not to be. Wait, it was a... Oh, 2 people said I glitched. Fuck. Uh-oh. David De La Rosa Jr. with the 5. My birthday is on June 30th. Awesome. We're summer babies. I know. I always was happy to be a summer baby growing up. I think it's the best time to celebrate because you can just do whatever. Oh, no glitches? Okay.
Hey, listen.
Be professional? I cannot be professional. Not here. In other contexts, yes, but not here. Oh, I'm not glitching. Okay. I just saw 2 people, so it's like, alright. Oh, yeah. The PS5 bundle. You guys can have a chance at winning by signing up with Chilling. That's linked on screen there from good old Fry. Inch of snow. Just an inch. Alright, we'll go back again. What is professional? Not on here. Why? I don't understand what you're referring to, homie. I mean, I can be professional, but it's not fun to be professional. Am I supposed to be here like, okay, everybody, welcome to the stream. I will say no funny jokes, and I will express none of my zany personality whatsoever because of some arbitrary reason, even though literally every aspect of YouTube is meant for entertainment purposes. Josh Trapedo, stage name for porn stars. Stage. What is Czar? What are 35 Czars? Thank you. Oh my God, you're live. Huge fan of South Africa. Please do a video on our country of tons of chilling truths. This is true, yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna have to compile some from South Africa because I do get those quite a bit. Show me your ankles. I have no idea how it would even be professional. Like if I'm in a fucking Zoom call in a meeting, I'm not gonna be like talking about farts, you know. This unprofessional is an outrage. Prepare to be cancelled. You are unprofessional. Do the voodoo that you do.
Mischievous dog.
Colin, oh my God, member for 27 months. Dirty 30 in exactly 2 months. I'll be in a corner with my Lexapro crying. Everybody got the Lexapro going. What's interesting? Well, happy early birthday in 2 months. No need to cry. Still got quite a bit of life to live, honestly. Might as well live it up. Scary stories from Texas. I actually do have those on the channel if you search them up. Are we all fucking born in 1992? I don't even know what that means. I feel like 1992 is like, I don't even know. I'm so bad at like, I'm like, I need you guys to put a /S so I understand if you're sarcastic in the comments. I can't pick up on tone. Or whatever. Anyways. I'd run out of money. Oh, wait, fuck. My final night on the streets also happened with fur. My final night on the streets also happened to be the first that I tried to ingratiate myself with the homeless folk who slept in the park, partially out of boredom and partially out of hunger. I'd run out of money, run out of food, and I figured if I hung out with the other guys, I could maybe get in on some of their food or something. I asked around, but no one had any spares. Until I asked this one guy, and he told me to buzz off, and I noticed a Snickers bar sticking out of his coat pocket. My rumbling stomach basically just overrode my brain, and with all the deft. What the hell's deft? Deft. Quick is skillful. Oh, okay, I see. Where does the astronaut theme come from? Yeah, I used to read like sci-fi and horror, so it's kind of a mashup. My rumbling stomach basically just overrode my brain, and with all the dexterity of a Victorian pickpocket, I slid the thing out of his pocket and walked off. Not my proudest moment, stealing food from a homeless guy when I could have just swallowed my pride and walked home, but it is what it is. So I go off to hide. Sorry. That's the scariest story I ever read about bleaching feces. What? I have no fucking clue. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all crazy. Joel has a huge audience range. I do, yeah. It's like literally like everybody. Even though when I do check the demographics on the channel, it seems to be most people are like between the ages of like 25 to 35 or something like that. And it's like surprisingly it's like 50-50, like guys and gals. Israel horror stories about bleaching feces. I don't get it, but there are many to come. 30 true scary bleaching feces stories to scare your poop white. Are people having trouble with the stream? I don't see that too often, to be honest with you, and I just recently reset my my router, so I was kind of like hoping that there wouldn't be problems. How was Thanksgiving for everyone? I had a good time. I made some cobbler. It went over very well. I was in a food coma for like 3 hours after, but I didn't sleep much the night before. Please start a Thick Thought channel. Yeah, I was talking to the person who helped me do like a speed drawing for a story. And so I have another video to post on TikTok, but I kind of like, I don't know, like that was it. That was the end of the communication, because I basically need like a shit ton of those, like somebody who can do, like go onto my channel, find stories they like that are between like just clips, you know what I mean, 1 to 3 minutes, because that's all you can post on TikTok, and just someone that can like bang out, you know, speed drawings like daily, you know what I mean, and I'd be willing to pay for it. Oh yeah. So I go off to hide somewhere so I can devour the Snickers whole, then I walk back to where the other guys are to hang out some more. Maybe like 2 or 3 hours later, I'm still trying to ingratiate myself with the homeless guys, but I'm also still pretty nervous around them for obvious reasons. I figured the guy I stole from is too drunk to even notice that I stole from him. But oh boy, was I wrong about that. Because like I said, a few hours after I stole it, I noticed the guy began to tap his coat pocket, obviously noticing that the candy bar is gone. I'm trying to remain inconspicuous, but I'm also trying to keep my eye on the guy, because if he put 2 and 2 together and worked out that it was me that stole from him, I wanted enough warning to be able to get out of there. So the guy taps his pocket, and when he stops, I can see the cogs turning in his booze-soaked brain, as I figured he was thinking, pretty sure I had some candy in there. But then a few seconds later, he's back taking pulls from his 40-ounce like he'd completely forgotten about the whole thing. Only, he hadn't. And the most shocking thing about what came next was how it went from 0 to 100 in like a second flat. So remember that pull of his 40? He takes 1, then 2, then a third much longer one, almost like he was trying to polish the whole thing off in a hurry, which as it turned out, was exactly what he was doing, because what was once an innocent beverage receptacle soon became a weapon, when he turned to the guy to his right and sent the glass 40 bottles smashing into his face. The guy just collapsed, hands covering his face, same hands with muffled... Yeah, you're not you. This is literally like a Snickers commercial. You're not you when you haven't eaten. Smashes a 40 over your face. Beverage receptacle. The guy just collapsed, hands covering his face, same hands with muffled, blood-curdling screams that he let out. The guy I stole from then started kicking the life out of him. Steal from me? Steal from me, mother effer? And out of all the homeless people there, only one actually tried to break it up. And even then, it was just a slurred, "They break it up over there," which ended up being totally ignored. I remember turning to the older dude who'd been nice to me, telling me to go home and whatnot, and I feigned ignorance as I asked him what was going on. The guy said the dude getting the... I gotta think of another word. I don't think crap is a big deal to say on YouTube, but for some reason I feel like it triggers some sort of system. Josh with the 14 czars said, would have been amazing if it was a Klondike bar. I know, right? What would you do for a Klondike bar? Oh, I'd smash this 40 over some person's face. Mads Mikkelsen in a sexy voice too. Yeah, I love Mads. Is that how you say his name? Mads? That's like one of my favorite actors, even though I've only ever seen bits and pieces of his stuff. But I just you know how you can just tell someone is like really fucking talented? That's what I get when I look at Mads. Oh. You love me? Thank you. Love you too. The guy said the dude getting beat down was always stealing stuff, so if anything went missing around the park, it was most probably his fault. No one cared though. No one gave a single worry that this guy was getting his face stomped on, and it was all my fault. Oh, and I mean stomped on. I could hear this guy's face literally crunching under the guy's boot. I knew I should have said something. I know I should have owned up, but believe me when I tell you that I've never been that scared. Not before or after. All I could think of was, if I tell the truth, that'll be my face getting stamped on, only it'll probably be like 100 times worse because, well, look what I caused. I turned to the nice guy and was like, but what if he didn't steal it? What if someone else stole it? Crap. What do I want most for Xmas? I want a retired canine dog unit. I want a retired canine German Shepherd dog. One that's pre-trained, but it can also eat the face off of anybody that intrudes. You know, and gets along with cats. You know, that'd be nice. I turned to the nice guy and was like, but what if he didn't steal it? What if someone else stole it? The guy looked at me and his eyes went all wide and he leaned in and said, "Don't say a word, kid. Just leave. Leave and never, ever come back." As I walked away, I could still hear the guy getting his butt beat, and although I never found out what happened to him, I don't see anyone being able to survive the kind of head injuries he got. That very same night, maybe at around 2 a.m., I walked back to my parents' house and banged on the front door until my dad woke up and answered. I just blurted out this big, long apology about being a total idiot and not appreciating what I'd had. I'm pleased to say that that was the first step on the road to being a decent human being. Because almost everything I did before that had little to no consequences, or rather, what little there were didn't bother me. But that night I stole the candy bar, I actually saw how bad the repercussions could be, and honestly, I had no idea they could ever be that bad, just for taking a candy bar. I feel equal parts shame and horror when I look back on it. My pride and greed caused me to do something shameful, and my cowardice might have cost a relatively innocent man's life. I wish it had never happened, but at the same time, if it didn't, who knows? I might be still hanging out in that park today, if I'd even be alive at all. Geesh. What would you do for a Snickers bar? Okay. Well, we got 10 stories tonight, my friends. Thanks for being here again. Oh, wow, we're already... See, the more I stream, it seems like the more people are down to pop in and say what's good. We're almost at 500 peeps. Click that like button. I don't know if it does anything. I just say it. I just say it because it's the YouTube thing to say. Smash that motherfucking like button. Stomp that like button's face in like it stole a Snickers bar from you. Sorry, that's probably a bad joke. You should be doing housework right now. Well, you could. A lot of people do housework while they listen. Unless, like, you only have access to the stream. You can, I think you can watch it on mobile. But I don't know if that would, like, dig into your battery or something. My name is Allie. I'm 33, and from the ages of 19 to 23, I was addicted to heroin. How I got hooked is a story on its own, but I have a better story to tell here, and that's how I got clean. I say better story, but it's still not a good one. In fact, it's actually pretty horrifying. But it was what I needed to get clean, so silver linings, I guess. Anyway, about 18 months into my addiction, I got kicked out of my apartment, and my family didn't want anything to do with me. I really can't blame them. So I ended up out in the streets. I was 21, 5'2", and 110 pounds soaking wet, so needless to say, I was pretty vulnerable. I think I'd have been more scared if I wasn't focused on scoring all the time. That's scoring drugs, not, you know. But as you can imagine, life for a young woman out on the streets is not a good one, and Jesus Christ is it scary. So first thing you learn is that you need protection. Basically, and as a feminist I hate to say this, you need a man. Now, I was lucky. Most girls don't get a choice, but I happened to hook up with a guy who had been an addict for about the same time as me, who was only a few years older. We didn't just get together so it'd be easier to score. We actually liked each other, and after a while, I'd say we fell in love. We spent the next 2 years together just trying to get by, occasionally trying to kick and facing all the hard... Trying to kick? Oh, kick the habit, maybe. You doing a project for your phlebotomy class? That's cool. Scoring a touchdown. Yeah, kick the habit, I assume. Oh, yeah. We spent the next 2 years together, just trying to get by, occasionally trying to kick the habit and facing all the hardships that came with the lifestyle altogether. Together, that was the important thing. It was the only thing that mattered. But I can't quite bring myself to type his name for a number of reasons, and you're about to learn the main one real soon. So this guy would do anything to protect me, and I mean anything. He stole from me, hurt people for me, but only when I needed to be defended. We were each other's whole worlds. And when we got 3 months in the county for this... Oh, I see. And when we got 3 months in the county for his third shoplifting offense, he had an immaculate record. New record. Immaculate. And when we got 3 months in county for his third shoplifting offense, he had an immaculate record before his addiction. I missed him like I'd never missed anyone else, not even my whole family. I wanted to say that I was able to make it by without him, but that's not the case. And when he finally... Shit. I want to say that I was able to make it by without him, but that's not the case. And when he finally got released, I literally wept with joy. I was so happy to see him. The cops had forced him to get clean in the county, and the first thing he wanted to do when he got out was get high again. Luckily, I'd planned a little homecoming party in advance, which consisted of nothing more than a 10 bag of dope. So we quickly found a safe, quiet place to nod out, then started spiking up. He went first, then shot up the second half of the needle, and we fell asleep in each other's arms. something I'd missed so much I can barely find the words to describe. The last thing I remember is him trying to pull away from me, and I figured it was to go pee or something. I'd missed him so much that all I remember is tugging at his sleeve, not wanting to let him go. I'd waited months for that cuddle, and he could wait a minute longer. Just a minute longer. The next thing I know, I'm opening my eyes, and I can still feel the guy's arm around me. You know when you just wake up and it's like you're not fully logged in yet? That's 1,000 times worse when you're on dope. Like it was actually like, huh? Who is this? For a second before I remembered my man was out. So naturally I feel this warm, fuzzy feeling. I wiggle back into him and I pull his arm tight around me. Then I reach for his hand to lace my fingers between his like he always used to like. And it's cold. Not just October in Chicago cold, like I need a pair of gloves cold. Stone cold. The kind of cold that made me realize something horrible was wrong. Something horrible was wrong. Josh with the 35 czars says, if you can do a narration with Danhausen, I'll pay big. Please look him up. Danhausen. Let me look him up real quick. Danhausen. Hello, yes. What's he do? Hello, yes, Danhausen here. A Ring of Honor wrestler and interdimensional celebrity of some sort. Very nice, very evil. Has discovered a YouTube. Anyways, watch Danhausen's videos so Dave, YouTube, sends him lots of human monies and he can buy his rocket car. House made of solid gold in a blimp. Okay, bye. Love that Danhausen. Interesting. What's he all about? I feel like it would be really hard to do a YouTube channel where you had to put on like face makeup and shit, because it just, I don't know, it would take some coordination. Danhausen here. I didn't even drink my tea. Would you ever fight Corpse Husband to see who has better content and music? Well, I don't make music, so he's already got me beat there. And our content is pretty different now. Since I think all he makes is music now. That's kind of like his shtick. Corpse is officially a musician. Well, he did release an animation on his second channel a while ago. I suppose he's a man of many hats. Man of many fingernail polishes. I remember I screamed so hard that right. Not just October in Chicago cold. Like, I need a pair of gloves cold. Stone cold. The kind of cold that made me realize something was horribly wrong. I barreled out from under him, spun around, tried to shake him awake, but it was no good. I remember I screamed so hard that I puked, and that caused someone to come running to check on us. After that, I'm not sure how long, the cops and the EMTs showed up, and I had to answer a bunch of questions. It was OD, by the way, in case you were wondering. He just shot a little too much after being clean for a few months, and his tolerance had plummeted so much that, his body just gave out. The worst thing is, though, as he was overdosing, he obviously tried to get away to get himself help or something. That's what the tugging must have been. A minute later, he must have slipped on. A minute later, he must have slipped away unconscious. All the while I was cuddled up, all snug in his arms. I slept with his corpse for maybe 5 or 6 hours, and that's something I think about, usually at least once a day. I think about my addiction, how grateful I am to be clean, and that's the first thing to pop into my head. I can't type his name because it just tears me up, fuck. You still thinking about me thinking my ankles? Do my ankles have brains? Because they can think for themselves, okay? I slept with this corpse for maybe 5 or 6 hours, and that's something I still think about, usually at least once a day. I think about my addiction, how grateful I am to be clean, and that's the first thing to pop into my head. I can't type his name because it just tears me up inside, like it's the most triggering thing for me, so please forgive me that I neglect such an obvious little detail. I can't type his name because even though we were addicts, I loved him with all my heart. I loved him, and in some ways I feel like I killed him. He was clean. I brought him the shot that killed him. It's my fault. It's all my fault. And that's something that I'll never, ever get over. Yeah, it's a sad story. I don't know. I think the saddest thing about like heroin addiction is just like how easy it is to transition from that, from like pills, you know what I mean? Like I've known a lot of people who took pain pills, and they're like, you know, people that weren't even in a sort of partying lifestyle, you know, somebody who has pain from a surgery or an accident or something or whatever, and they take like OxyContin or some you know what I mean, like some sort of narcotic, and it just slowly evolves over time, and people don't even realize the extent of their addiction until now they're on black tar heroin. I don't even know. So, please do consider, in your heart of hearts, to avoid doing drugs. Luke, you're a heroin addict. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope you can get clean. It's a sad thing to witness, especially for family members and things of that nature. What do I want to know? I mean, I don't know. When are you going to stop? Somebody told me that you have a girlfriend look like a boyfriend that you had in February of last year. It's not confidential, but I got potential. Rushing around. It is a scary slope, and same with alcohol. You don't even realize it, dude. You don't even realize it. And then you make up your body and your brain chemistry will make up excuses, you know? Make up excuses on why it's everybody else's fault, you know, or why it's not a big deal, or you know what I mean? It's scary, man. True scary stories about Virginia. Yeah, I need to I'm slowly making it through all 50 states. I feel like we're getting there. Your brother was a heroin addict. Now he's switched to meth. Not sure. Oh, meth. Man, is that a big jump? I feel like it's kind of a jump, but at the same time, like, if you're down that route, you know, that rabbit hole. You were addicted to fentanyl for 6 years, clean since April, still going strong. That's awesome, Demi. I'm happy for you. Well, everyone has an addiction, but not all of their addictions can kill them. I'm serious. And not all of their addictions can destroy their relationships with other people. And I'm not saying heroin manifests itself relationship-wise with other people the same way it does for everyone. But yeah, I've had, you know, family members that's like they go to heroin and then it's, to get off, they got to go to methadone, and then they got to go to Suboxone, but then they get addicted to Suboxone, then they got to go to a rehab clinic, and it's just like, you know, you're addicted to farting. Let it out, baby, let it out. It's gambling. Yeah, I mean, I've had family members that have like every vice in the book. It's like gambling, smoking, you know, alcoholism, heroin, you know, women, fucking just anything that possibly gives them like just an ounce of serotonin. Oh, Pradeep, you're sweet. It's so funny. It was like laying at my foot, but then I like kind of pulled my foot away, and then he like rolled over onto my foot. So he's a good boy. Yeah, I don't know. Drugs are bad, okay? That's all I'm saying. Like, there's no apology I have or for criticizing addictions, you know, because they just destroy everything. They destroy everything. There's nothing that good comes from it, you know what I mean? But I guess when it comes to overcoming addictions, people have to replace them with something else, like, you know what I mean? I can't explain the genetics to it. I mean, obviously there's a chemistry to it involving the drug itself, but, you know, something like you got to replace it with some sort of obsession with health, you know, whether it's like getting into bodybuilding or cycling or, you know what I mean? Like, wake up every day and I'm obsessed with getting on my bike and just going, you know what I mean? Something different to replace it. I mean, I can't say that I know. I mean, there's the step programs that get you out of it, but please watch Dope Stick. Is that a YouTube channel? Let me check it out. Dope Stick. Or is that a movie? Dope Stick official trailer, Hulu. Okay. Dope Stick, Michael Keaton from executive producers, Danny Strong, starring executive producer, examines how. Let's see. Michael Keaton examines how one company triggered the worst drug epidemic in American history. The series takes viewers to the epicenter of America's struggle with opioid addiction, from the boardrooms of Big Pharma to a distressed Virginia mining community to the hallways of the DEA. Watch Dope Stick October. I know, that's the craziest thing. It's just like all of these like really small towns, especially here in Pennsylvania. There's quite a few. I believe there's one around here that was like the heroin capital of the USA, you know, or something nuts like that. Like the amount of heroin that goes through it and the amount of people that are addicted is like per capita is just nuts. It's so depressing, you know, because it's just it literally is an epidemic that is otherwise ignored, you know. And I think there's lawsuits ongoing with it right now, but I mean, when you have that much money, when you have like hundreds of billions of dollars, like you know, you set your soul to the side, you know. And I'm not saying, well, actually, honestly, imagine if you were in the face of that, you know, like having that much money. And the worst part is like, I've always said that there's this weird psychology that exists within like companies, in the same way that it exists within the military, in the same way that it exists with any sort of hierarchical process within human existence, is that like, imagine your job in like working in a pharmaceutical company is to maximize profits as much as possible, and like everyone's just sort of like a wheel, you know what I mean, or like a, what do they call it, like a cog in the wheel, sorry, you know, to maximize those profits. And it's like, so to a degree there's such a sort of lack of communication from like top to bottom and then to consumer, that you never actually get to see the sort of like ethical consequences of the decisions that you make in your, whether it's research and development, whether it's marketing, whether it's, you know, PR, whether it's fucking, you know, you're the lawyer that's defending like a literal opioid epidemic, like, and at the end of the day, your decision is solely based on your bottom line. And it's really sad, you know. It's like, it really takes a strong individual to just like say like, I really have to step down from this because it's like destroying my soul, you know. It's literally, and you know, at the same time, like, there's also the rule that exists within the world of plata o plomo, you know, where it's silver or lead, and to say that doesn't exist within the United States, you know, corporate government sort of like meshing, would be an absolute farce. Can you say Vanessa is a beast, Joel? She saved a cat today. Well, nice, Vanessa. How'd you save that cat? All right, yeah, let's move on to a different story. I apologize. You know, that last story was pretty depressing. I'll probably, but you know, you gotta, like, I understand people want escapism a lot, and they want to ignore those harsh realities. But the faster you acknowledge them as an individual, the faster they can be addressed, I guess, on a grander scale, because it all starts with you in that grassroots sort of world, you know. a lot of people kind of like indirectly complain about like larger systems than themselves. But the only way to like really make changes is to start on the individual level and, you know, sort of send that positive virus, you know, within yourself, like personality-wise, out to other people through your interactions. Concerned Turtle with a 5. Hey Joel, I love your content. Say hi to your cat for me. I will. Yeah, I think he stepped out. He was rolling around on the ground there for a second. How many pages is this one? It's like, okay, it's like 2. I read this one and then I gotta use the bathroom and you guys get to see the Be Right Back screen. Everybody's favorite. Ah! I had a real rough upbringing. I won't bore you with the little details, but my parents weren't in the picture. I was in and out of abusive foster homes, and when I was 16, I spent a long couple of months sleeping on the streets. Lots of messed up stuff happened. Lots of messed up stuff happened, I mean, a lot, and sometimes I feel like I could write a book of all the scary stuff I had to go through during my teenage years. But this one thing is by far the most frightening thing that happened. And the worst thing is that the guy caught me when I was really, really hungry. Otherwise, I might have had the good sense to realize what was going on. So, sorry. Scary stories from Australia. There is scary stories from Australia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the search feature on the on any channel. Kind of like on the top bar where it says like videos, playlists, and stuff. If you scroll all the way to the right, there's a little magnifying glass you can click on and search within specific channels, and you can search on Mind Type Australia or whatever you want, and you'll be able to find any topic most likely you could want. I've covered quite a few. More vids on childhood memories. Yeah, that was actually volume 2, that most recent one. It was a really good video, I thought. And so if you didn't see in the description or in the pinned comment, there's a volume 1 if you haven't seen that one. Oh, you write scripts on YouTube. Nice. What kind of scripts do you write? The worst thing is that the guy caught me when I was really, really hungry. Otherwise, I might have had the good sense to realize what was going on. So, like I said, I was bumming around, trying to scrape together a couple of bucks to get some food. I was standing at a crosswalk with a sign that said 16, homeless and hungry, and every time the lights went red, I'd walk out and flash my sign to them and hope they'd toss me their pocket change. Sometimes it worked, sometimes not, and on this particular night, people didn't seem to be feeling generous at all. All until this one guy pulled up, got out of his car and was like, "Oh my God, honey, are you okay?" He seemed so kind, and I was just feeling so weak, and the sudden act of apparent kindness was almost too much for me. So I'm holding back tears as I'm telling him how hungry I am, and as he asks if he can take me to get some food before helping me find a place to stay, all I could think about was the food. I know I shouldn't have done it. I know I shouldn't have gotten in the guy's car, but I was young. I was naive. I figured, if anything happens, I can just run away or call for help. I even pictured myself like ducking and rolling from the car if he tried driving me anywhere secluded, you know, like they do in the movies. So as dumb as it sounds to say it now, I actually felt kind of safe. But if I'm honest with myself, all I was thinking about was the idea of a hero or a burger or... A hero? What the fuck's it? Oh, what? Don't touch that dial with the 5 says, "Hey man, hope you have a great night. Thanks for lending everyone your voice as always. Always excited for the next episode." Thank you, Don't Touch That Dial. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good night. Thank you. Getting eaten as a first by a toilet gator. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Pradeep, what's up, buddy? Sometimes he'll just stare at me. And if I stare back at him, he'll make a meowing sound. Oh, no, he's going elsewhere. I feel like he's trying to convey to me some sort of psychic language. But I don't speak psychic cat. I speak psychic human. Just not Psychic Cat. But if I'm being honest with myself, all I was thinking about was the idea of... Yeah, I'll just say burger. I don't know what that was. A hero sandwich. But if I'm being honest with myself, all I was thinking about was the idea of a burger or something. I was practically salivating just thinking about it. When he asked me where I had in mind, I think I said Wendy's or something because I remember us driving past one, pointing it out to him, and he just ignored me. That's when I realized something was wrong, and I started to ask him why he hadn't stopped at the Wendy's. That's when this formerly really kind person turned into a monster right before my eyes. "Shut up," was all they said. They didn't even take their eyes off the road while saying it. But hey, I had my little backup plan, and I wouldn't even have to tuck and roll at speed. But hey, I had my little backup plan, and I wouldn't even have to tuck and roll at high speeds. We were still in the inner city by that point, with stoplights every quarter of a mile or whatever. So I just shut my mouth, waited until we were at a stoplight, unlocked the passenger door, then pulled on the door handle. Nothing. I pulled on it again. Still nothing. I pulled it a third time, and that's when I noticed that it didn't feel right. Like it felt hollow almost, like it wasn't connected to anything. And I suppose that's because it wasn't. I can remember that horrible sinking feeling that went through me even today, realizing it was a trap, realizing that there was no way out. When I started screaming and bashing on the car window, he just turned up the stereo and ran a red light so I couldn't alert anyone. Then I don't even really know what came over me, but in a panic, I kind of leaned back in the seat and started bashing the windscreen with my bare feet. Demi Windsor with the 2, I was going to say Californian, Canadian, maple syrup dollars says, "Love your voice, makes my day, never change." Thank you, Demi. Thank you, thank you. Then, and I don't even really know what came over me, but in a panic, I kind of leaned back in my seat and started bashing the windshield with my bare feet. I kicked and kicked and kicked until the glass began to crack, and the guy trying to kidnap me couldn't do much about it as he had to keep his eyes on the road. Yeah, he threw a few punches and they sure did hurt, but I still had enough freedom to do some serious damage to his car's windshield. Then, it's his turn to scream at me, telling me how dead... Fuck. Dead... Where was that? Oh, wait. I kicked and kicked and kicked until the glass began to crack, and the guy trying to kidnap me couldn't do much about it, as he had to keep his eyes on the road. Yet, he threw a few... Fuck, man, I suck. Yeah, he threw a few punches, and they sure did hurt, but I still had enough freedom to do some serious damage to his car's windshield. Then, it's his turn to scream at me, telling me how I'm dead, how he's going to make me beg to be killed before the end. It was terrifying, sure, but I knew I'd gotten to him. So I'm just screaming, "Yeah? Well, screw you too." Then out of nowhere, the blue and red lights and the whoop of a police... police. God damn it. Then, out of nowhere, blue and red lights and the whoop of a police siren. And you should have seen the guy's face. He looked like he'd seen a ghost, like the color just drained from his face as he looked into the rear view. I didn't think I was out of the woods yet. I thought I'd have to ensure some crazy police chase. Ensure. Burners only? What are burners? Is that someone who, like, runs and does parkour to deliver like messages to other burners, like in Mirror's Edge. I didn't think I was out of the woods yet. I thought I'd have to endure some crazy police chase or something, and even then, the guy might just pull out a gun and kill us both. But no. He pulls what turned out to be a stolen car over, jumps out, and then just runs off as fast as his legs could carry him. To this day, I've never been so happy to see the cops. These days, I have my life together, and I've learned to dread seeing those same blue and red lights in my rear view. It usually means a speeding ticket or a driver's safety course. Okay, I get it, I'm not the best driver. But sometimes, just sometimes, I remember the feeling I got when the cops pulled me over at that. Althea, what's up with the 20 big one says, I love you, Joe, I love your channel, it keeps me saying nice. Also, am I saying your name right? I remember you mentioned it before. Hey Carrie, how are you? I remember you saying I had a funny pronunciation of it before. I want to make sure I got it. Correctamundo. But sometimes, just sometimes, I remember the feeling I get when the cops pulled me out of that car. Just complete, all-consuming, gratifying relief. Their intervention helped me get back into foster care, and for the first time, I actually felt at home with the family I was assigned to. And the best thing about that night? I actually got my Wendy's. All thanks to the cops that rescued me. So thank you guys. I owe you literally everything. Hey King. Hey Queen, how are you? Is weed good for IBS? I don't know. I've heard there's a lot of uses for the various ingredients within the plant, but you would probably have to look up the science for it. I'm sure there's some sort of key, component in there that helps with the tum-tum. Cider, what's poppin'? We need Joel to work with Mort. Mort uses my... oh, you mean like for him to animate my channel? Yeah, that would be cool. I actually just recently hit up Mort to potentially maybe... Because I was okay with him using my narrations on like his Mort channel and Martin Animations and stuff, and he's actually doing really well in there, which I'm happy about. But he actually was kind of using like all of the entire videos like narrations, which is fine. I mean, I didn't say otherwise, but I didn't expect like an animation channel to be like every episode be like 40 minutes and to use like every one of my things. I thought animation took a lot longer to do, but I guess he just like is a workhorse and pumps that shit out, whoever he may be. So I just asked him to like, obviously link my channel, have some overlay on the screen say that the narrator is, and recently I asked him to like just only use half of the video, and then like at the end I gave him outros for both the channels to say like, hey, if you like this, be sure to head over to Let's Read's channel to listen to the rest of the stories, because if people hear it all in there and they see animations, they would have no motivation to go over to my channel. You know what I mean? So, and he was very respectful about that, obviously. So hopefully that generates some more traffic. I don't know. Lick my channel. Hey, I gotta use the bathroom right quick. Can I BRB real quick? I will BRB. I'm gonna wash my hands too, so don't even ask. Don't even ask. Okay. I am back from the piss machine area. You passed many a note in your day? Are you guys passing in notes in the class? You squawked me twice now. Get squawked. Oh yeah, that song is... Shit, I had it remembered, but it's by an artist called Secede, and the album's called Silent Flower Observers. One of my favorite artists of all time. Don't you love when people say, like, of all time for their favorite thing? It's like, motherfucker, you've been alive 14 years, you know, or something like that, or you've been alive, like, less than half a century. Like, how the fuck do you know all the music ever? You don't think he washed his hands? Guess what? I fucking did. Baby. Fucking pissed on him. And pee is clean, right? Didn't watch the new Dexter. That's, yeah, somebody mentioned about that. It's like, damn, they're still making Dexter. What the fuck? Would I like some chocolate cake? You're goddamn right. We are a tribe of Joelites. We must migrate. We must nomadically move. The album's called Pee Pee Poo Poo. How did you know? GTA Online outfit glitches. Dude, also GTA Online, like, how the hell did GTA Online make so much money? Oh yeah, there you go, Astro. You were in my core A. Yep. Thank you. You remembered. Appreciate that. Do you still listen to it? Or did you listen to the whole album? Did you listen to Trishashla? I can type that. I'll type that in the chat for you. Trishashla. That one's my favorite from them. But all of his albums are like fucking just like the coolest experimental shit of all time. And my PS4 or Xbox. You know, I had an Xbox when Halo 5 came out to play it, and it was pretty underwhelming. So I gave it to my one pastor's kids for a present. And I just never, like, you know, play, because I'm, you know, once you get PC, it's like, once you get PC, it's like what's the point, you know what I mean? Like, PC is like, you got everything on there, and for the most part, like, sometimes there's like some console exclusives that are great. And then I remember I bought a PS4 specifically just to play Red Dead 2, and that was like sort of the only thing I played on it. Just because once again, it's like, once I get back into my PC grind, it's like you can just do everything from there. You can stream scary stories on it. Can't do that on PlayStation. Teresa Sergeant Maiden, that's a great name, has become a member of the Buttersock Cult. Welcome. Teresa, you also have access now to bonus content. Hopefully one of the mods. Oh, there, yeah. Thank you, Fry. Always on top of it. Appreciate it. More cult stories. Mayhaps. Oh, you've been listening a lot. Many thanks. Nice. That's cool. That makes me happy. It makes me happy, like, passing on, like, new music to people that they enjoy, you know, because, and, like, the cool thing is, Astro, is, like, there's so many awesome artists within that genre of Secede. Like, if you were to type, like, Secede into YouTube Music, or, you know, I don't know, Spotify, Pandora, all of those music services, like, there's so much weird shit that's, like, really relaxing and very, very cool that you can, like, stumble across. Because that's kind of like the rabbit hole I went down. Another one that's kind of a side, a little bit more mainstream, but like Tycho. If you guys know Tycho, Tycho's awesome. Inked Girl has become a member of the Buttersock Cult. Welcome. And Christina
Mischievous dog
has become a member. You guys both get access to bonus content. Thank you guys for becoming members and mischievous doges. Alright, so I think this is story number 4 of 10. Check out Poster Boy 2000 if you like punk 8-bit music. I do like the idea of it, but I'd have to hear them to like know if they're down my alleyway. What's your next video you're going to post? This will be the next video. So I record these during streams, and then the next video will be that one that I recorded, and this will be about like homeless experiences while being homeless. I keep missing your comments. What did I miss, Amanda? Can I get an early happy birthday? Oh, it's Tuesday. When's your birthday? It's on Tuesday. Oh, well, there will be a new podcast out there for you. Well, early happy birthday. Everybody, you know, everybody wish a happy birthday to Amanda. Give her the love tonight. What's that notification sound? Oh yeah, that's Chills. Mischievous dog. Mischievous frog. Do I watch Dead Bugs? What's Dead Bugs? I feel like I'm like so behind on just any form of entertainment. Though whenever I watch something, I'll like talk about it for like, yeah, it had all this shit in it. It was cool. I can't even think of the words to really describe the feeling of dread I got whenever I looked up and saw those little white flakes begin to fall. You'd see kids and other folks get all excited, especially around the holidays. But for people out in the streets, snow meant just one thing: death. I'll just share one story. Ashley has become a mischievous frog and a member of the Buttersock cult. Welcome, welcome. You now have access to bonus content. But for people out on the streets, snow meant just one thing: death. I'll just share one story with you because too many will just get me down. I used to collect a lot of scrap to get money from the recycling place, and a lot of times I'd stop off at this place I knew Pete stayed at. This guy Pete was a few years older than me, and he was one of those few homeless guys you meet that isn't a complete jerk in some way. Most of the time, it's drugs or alcohols, It's drugs or alcohols. What is it? Your birthday's December 5th. Nice. Oh, that's soon. That's very soon. For some reason, December still feels far away from me, like we're in the summer for some reason. I don't know why. Even though we just banged out that whole all of fall just flew by. I used to, what is it? Most of the time, it's drugs or alcohol. So, most of the time, it's drugs or alcohol, and that's the person's problem. Sometimes it's mental illness. But Pete was like the most normal, well-adjusted person I'd ever met out on the streets. I never got a story, and I'm sure it was tragic, but Pete was a good guy. A real good guy. So, this one year, it was my second year of being homeless. It snows really heavy come wintertime. The previous year had been cold, but all we got was slush, and as much as that sucks, the moisture tends to keep things slightly above deadly temperatures. But then my second year, we got this really dry snow, and the temperatures dropped to like 20, maybe 25 degrees. I walk past Pete's little section of alleyway, and he's not there. His little alcove is empty, so I start to worry. A few days go by, the weather gets worse, but I had a place in a derelict with a bunch of sterno. What the fuck are sterno? What's a sterno? Cans? I don't know. A few days go by, the weather gets worse, but I had a place in a derelict building with a bunch of sterno, and I figured since Pete actually had his stuff together, he might have done the same. So one day, I'm headed back along with my old scrap route, and I have to walk past Pete's place. To my absolute relief, I see a pile of sleeping bags and To my absolute relief, I see a pile of sleeping bags and cardboard laid out, signifying he was home. So, I walk up, sorry to wake him, but happy to see him, and I'm all like, "Hey, Petey, terrible weather we're having, buddy. How about them Yankees?" Petey was a Met guy, so every single time I gave him that greeting, even if he was asleep, he'd just rear out of his bag and give me a F off the... what the fuck? Does Joel smoke? I don't smoke. Petey was a Mets guy, so every single time I gave him that greeting, even if he was asleep, he'd just rear out of his bag and give me a F the Yankees. But this time, Pete doesn't move. It was like a scene in a movie or something. I'm going, "Pete, you there, buddy?" Just walking right into the inevitable as I lean down near him and pull up the section of sleeping bag covering his head. And he was blue. I didn't cry. Not right away. It was the first body I'd ever found, so I remember just recoiling in horror and wanting to get away from him. I walked a few blocks, and my head was spinning, and when I finally kind of came to, I was able to dial 911 and told them where to find the body. He was gone by that night. Thankfully, I'm not homeless anymore, and I don't really like to talk about my time on the streets all that much, not to people who don't know me from that life. But of all the people that died, the ones you really remember are the people who seem like they might get off the streets any day now. They're just that one phone call away to a cousin or that one job interview away from freedom, and then they get snatched away from you by something as meaningless as the weather. It wasn't drugs or booze that killed Petey. No, he was murdered, and society got the blood on its hands. You got edibles. Nice. I feel like edibles is something that, like, people do and it, like, hits them the hardest whenever they're in the marijuana consumption phase. I remember, like, doing edibles for a friend's birthday, and it was just utter, like, it was terrifying. I thought my friend was gonna kill me. Let's just say that. I thought he put bleach in the brownies. What game should you get? GTA 5 or Red Dead 2? Well, Red Dead 2 I think is a lot more immersive. GTA 5 is, I think there's like an online component of it that like sort of extends the gameplay a lot more than Red Dead Online. There's a lot more like online content with like silly bullshit, but it's not like either of their online stuff is very well polished. But the single player for Red Dead is a lot more, I guess, immersive and polished, with a lot of like random occurrences that can happen in the game to keep you interested, you know what I mean? GTA 5 has like more of a funny, I guess, storyline to it, if you're into that. Back in early 2020, I was doing pretty badly financially. I was behind on rent, my hours at my job had just been cut, and almost all my money was being funneled into vet bills for my cat, who thankfully fully recovered from their surgery. But then boom, the pandemic hit, and it was devastating. You see, I live out here in California, where the restrictions have been particularly harsh, and they were most definitely at their harshest during the summer of 2020. When I lost my job, I could claim unemployment, but when it came to my apartment, I decided it would just be better to find an alternative fucking shit. When I lost my job, I would claim unemployment, but when it came to my apartment, I decided it would just be better to find an alternative form of accommodation for a while. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I started living in my car. It sucked just as hard as you can imagine, and as a result, I only lasted about 10 days before I just threw in the towel and moved back in with my parents up near Eugene. But in those 10 days, I had some seriously freaky stuff happen to me, and probably the most unexpected and therefore the creepiest was somewhere I least expected it. So just for clarity's sake, I'm a girl in my early 20s, not particularly tall, not particularly strong, and after searching for a relatively safe place to park up every night, I ended up finding. Have I ever bought games and not had much time to play them? Yeah, for sure. For sure. Where I like play a lot of the same games, you know, stupid fucking Overwatch, or I don't know. I've been playing Halo a little bit more lately. It's nice to like try something new a little bit, but at the same time, when it comes to like games, now that I'm 31, I feel like every video game I play is just the same shit, you know? It's just the same thing. Just the same thing recycled in some new format, and it's not very fun or satisfying or exciting. And I just think I'm like slowly transitioning out of that phase of like consuming content, you know what I mean, to like just sort of having more of a keen desire, at least at the very least, to like create it, you know? How I do that, I don't really know. I guess I'm doing it right now, but we have a cat, yeah. His name's Pradeep. He's black. I don't know. He's like kind of not short hair, but like medium hair, I guess. Not long. And he is one heckin' nice boy. He's not a chonker because I don't feed him that much. Well, I mean, I feed him like once a day, but he just grazes throughout the day. Some people feed their animals like so much and they just get fat, and I'm like, well, if they get fat, they'll just die sooner, you know. And I don't want him to die. I want him to live for 50 years. Oldest cat of all time. What is this, Penny? Welcome, Penny. I just read scary stories. I'm recording videos for what comes out tomorrow on the channel in a more edited fashion, but most of the time I just BS with the chat while I read the scary stories. Here, I'll read a little bit for you. And after searching for a relatively safe place to park up every night, I ended up finding a quiet little cul-de-sac that seemed as safe as far as any I knew to park up and get some sleep. Best thing about it was mostly office spaces, so I could just take up empty spaces at night, then leave before anyone showed up to complain. The only active place was this all-night McDonald's, and I always figured it was a good place to park near since it meant food, coffee, and a bathroom to wash up in. So, one night before I'm about to sleep, I feed Oscar, then check my surroundings to make sure it's pretty much all clear. Wait, who the fuck is Oscar? Did they even specify who Oscar was? Is Oscar a cat? It says Oscar, the sound of Oscar yowling. I figured it might be oh, I see. Okay, so Oscar's their cat that they forgot to say existed. So one night before I'm about to sleep, So one night before I'm about to sleep, I feed Oscar, my cat, then check my surroundings to make sure it's pretty much all clear. The only person around is a guy sitting at the outdoor seating at McDonald's, but he's not looking at me, not doing anything remotely creepy, so I figured it's safe to go to sleep. I don't even know how much time passed before I wake up to the sound of Oscar yowling. I figured it might be another cat outside, so I tell him to be quiet. But he won't. Oscar kept yowling, then hissing at something. The moment I opened my eyes, I knew something was wrong. I parked in the same place every night, slept in almost the same position every night, and the position I slept in meant there was always this annoying beam of light coming in my window from the McDonald's across the street. So when I opened my eyes and I wasn't immediately half blinded by the floodlight, I knew something was up close against my car. Then when I looked, I swear, a legitimate chill went up my spine. Some guy, and I don't know if it was the same one eating when I went to sleep, was pressed right up against the glass, hands around his eyes like goggles so he can see into the dark car, and he's just staring directly at me. He didn't look particularly scary. I think he just had a dark-colored windbreaker on, and I know he had short, neatly cropped hair. He looked so normal, but it wasn't so much how he looked as the way he was looking at me. Eyes all wide, this slight curl to his lips, almost like he's thinking of all the possibilities that come from having found a vulnerable, sleeping girl. The fact that Oscar was ready to claw his face off didn't seem to faze him. He was just fixated on one thing, and one thing alone. Me. I swear to God, no one's ever made me feel like that ever. Not before that night, and not after either. It's like he didn't see me as a person. More like he'd found a $20 bill on the floor, something he could just take. Luckily, I kept all my doors locked, so there was no danger of him getting into the car unless he broke a window. But that didn't make it any less frightening when he was leaning up, looking around, and suddenly tried to open one of my car doors. I grabbed my phone, sat up, and started screaming for him to get away from my car, saying that I was going to call the cops, that I'm calling 911 right now. At that, he just started walking away from the car like nothing had happened. I saw two people stop and say something to him on the way into the McDonald's, but he just shrugged it off, walked into the darkness, and disappeared. By the time the cops showed up, he was long gone, and it wasn't like he'd committed any real crimes to file a report. But still, the cops were really understanding, told me I'd done the right thing, but also advised me to scout out some other potential sleeping situations. Definitely not the most helpful cops I've ever dealt with, but the guy who took my report was really understanding and was actually there for how scared I was. Anime and Weirdness with a 5 says, can you send a shout out to my daughter, Isla? She's a great girl. Oh, shout out to Isla. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Ela? Is it Ela? Isla? Shout out to ya. What's poppin'? Feel my belly button. You stay away from it. I need the lint. It's my lint. And I want it now. Alright. Definitely not the most helpful... okay, I just understand the sentence. But the guy who took my report was really understanding and was actually there for how scared I was. I don't understand that sentence, but whatever. You like corn? I saw your... what? Yeah, I mean, like, I like corn. I used to like it when I was younger, and I think I was just revisiting that video at the time. But I left a comment on that corn video, and it got a lot of likes, so I thought that was kind of funny. Definitely not the most helpful I've ever... Definitely not the most helpful cops I've ever dealt with, but the guy who took my report was really understanding and was actually there for me, unlike his cold partner who I swear was only moments away from rolling his eyes at me. That was the worst thing about living in my car. People treat you like a human being until the very second you let it slip out, and then it's like a race to find out what's wrong with you. Drugs, mental breakdown, scandalous divorce. Oh, it always has to be something negative too, like I can't just be down on my luck because of a freaking global pandemic. Not everyone was like that, but enough. Enough to make it a problem. So please, homeless people need a lot of things. Compassion, financial and moral support. But they definitely don't need your judgment. Sandra with a 2 Buccarino says, have to head out, just wanted to say thanks and good night. Good night, Sandra. Sleep tight. Hey, Brob. What's up, Brobert? Sloppy steaks, anyone? Just covered in water? Oh, yeah. There's spooky stories here, all right. If that's what you was wondering. Dun 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 dun. Hey, okay. I'm worried your baby thinks people can't change. My baby thinks you're a piece of shit. What's he doing? Reading stories? How'd I get to be mod in here? You used to be a piece of shit with your slick back hair. I believe it. I believe it. With hair like that, come on. Am I a shagger? What's a shagger? Shagadelic? I'm gonna throw up Dr. Pepper like a foamy fountain. You should do it. I bought a bunch of Dr. Pepper cherry zero sugar off Amazon. Because they don't have it at the motherfucking grocery store because of all the motherfucking food shortages and bullshit. You gotta go straight to the source. You gotta harvest it from Lake Minnetonka. The Wii is now a retro console. That is funny, hearing it be retro. Retro. I feel like there wasn't, I don't know. I don't really get too excited about it. I mean, I think the Switch was smart and like kind of like just being this primarily this sort of hybrid between something you can bring around with you versus put on the TV. But what was the one they recently made, like the Switch Lite? The one that, I don't know. The one that's like, I don't even know. It's like, it sucks, by the way. It just sucks. Long story short, the Switch Lite or whatever, it blows. It doesn't have better battery life, and you can't even hook it up to your TV. So I'm just like, what was the fucking point of making this stupid thing? I don't know, just so they can double dip. I hate like business practices. It's like, oh yeah, we made a new thing where it kind of like looks more like a Fisher-Price toy that you can drop in a ball pit and a bunch of kids can shit and stomp on and won't break. But you can't do any of the bullshit that you used to be able to. We're Nintendo, though. We've got fucking Pokemon and Super Smash Brothers for the 9,000th fucking time. Also Zelda and Mario. Hello, Mario. Tramadol is an opiate. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Game Boy Color was great. Yeah, the Game Boy Color was the first, like, I remember I saved up, like, my parents would pay me $5 a week to take the trash out. That was one of my chores. And taught me a lot of responsibility, that 3 fucking second walk out to the front yard, in which I had to tie a plastic bag together and drag. That was literally usually, like, weighed more than me, which was funny. Just dragging a bunch of like goo and slime and dead shit. But anyways, after like, I don't even know, a year and a half, I saved up enough to get a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Blue. And that was probably the highlight of my entire childhood, pretty much. I think the cool thing about playing Pokemon when I was like one of the first kids to be of that age when Pokemon came out, was just like how mysterious it was, you know, because there was like that book that looked kind of like a manual. It was like brown and had like pictures of the Pokemon and stuff in it. I don't know. It was just very mysterious. You just like didn't know what was going on. And now with Pokemon, I'm just like, all right, this one's called Gorbledygoop, and it's basically like it's like the air compressor can on your computer that you push out all the dust out of. Also, there's a dust bunny Pokemon that gets stuck in people's computer mons. Everything's a fucking Pokemon, and somehow it's just existed and evolved conveniently right around the time that humans invented such products. They're also living fucking creatures. It's like, really? There's a Pokemon that's a spork? That's how desperate you are? Can't you just give me another fucking, like, fire monkey that throws, like, its own shit at people, but it's, like, magma shit? You want me to read it in this voice? I used to stay in some abandoned warehouses here in the UK, and not like the kind you're thinking. These are old Victorian buildings that I think might have been part of the cotton industry, but don't quote me on that. The point is, there's about 6 floors up, and yeah, you get the idea. There's the extra. Oh yeah, good idea. You will have to remind me. You didn't get into Pokemon about 5 years ago. It's fun. It's relaxing. The new one, the remake of Pearl and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, like, they look okay. I mean, as long as you enjoy them, you know. I don't know. There's like, I feel like they've just like been missing an opportunity for years and years to like do something that's not just like a complete and utter gimmick, or not a gimmick. You know, like where the only thing they do is gimmicks. That if they change it up, but I understand they got to stick to the Japanese, the JRPG style, blah 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 blue blue blue. You know what I want to see? I want to see an entire fucking Super Smash Bros. Game, and not Pokken Tournament, even though Pokken Tournament looks okay. And I know they made the Pokemon MOBA recently, but those don't really interest me. But I want to play like a Super Smash where it's just like all Pokemon. And like 150 of them. Yeah, that sounds good to me. English dub Meowth. Meowth, that's right. Wait, no. Jesse. Meowth. I can't fucking do it. Did I sell my soul for internet fame? Oh yeah. I sold it to you, Memphis. You fucking owe me something. Where's my fame? Michelle Bell with a 5. Thank you. How are you? Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Didn't play much of that, but still sucks they took out the slots minigames. Yeah, I remember that was pretty cool back in the day when you were getting, trying to get like a Dratini or some shit out of the slot machine. Okay. I used to stay in some abandoned I used to stay in some abandoned warehouses here in the UK, and not like the kind you're thinking. These are old Victorian buildings that I think might have been part of the cotton industry, but don't quote me on that. The point is, they're about 6 floors up and are still in pretty decent condition if you can ignore the mice and the leaky sections. Anyway, I was much younger when this all happened. I was almost freshly 18, and I was coming to the end of my life on the streets. Because what happened next motivated me to get my act together, stop drinking, and get on the list for emergency housing. So as I was saying, I used to walk all the way up to the 3rd or 4th floor whenever I slept in this place, just to try and be as safe as possible. It wasn't unusual for certain unsavory types to wander into the lower floors to do all sorts of horrible stuff, and I like to be about as far away from that kind of thing as possible if I wanted to get any sleep. But then this one night, I wake up to the most horrible sound of screaming I'd ever heard. I can't even find the right words for it, like a proper death scream. Just made my skin crawl when I heard it. I was so frightened that I couldn't move at first, but that I also knew I had to do something, at least to try and make it stop. If I was screaming like that, I'd want someone to come and help me too. But then, by the time I actually got up and went downstairs, the screaming suddenly stopped. I kept going just in case, but there was nothing down there, not a single person to be seen. I figured maybe. I figured maybe just there had been an argument or something. God forbid, maybe a ghost. But the truth was much more frightening. I went back upstairs to get some sleep, thinking it was all safe again, and when I wake a few hours later to try to get some breakfast from the Catholic mission across town, I can hear the police radios before I'd even seen them. They'd found a body of a girl just outside the entrance to where I was sleeping, and since I admitted to being in the area the night before, didn't have a leg to stand on, really, I actually ended up being part of a murder investigation. It sounds grim, but it was actually quite nice. It broke up the monotony of my days, going to and from the police station to give statements and have my fingerprints taken and all of that. And I know that probably sounds horrible to most of you, hearing me taking a measure of joy in that girl's death, and I get it. It's horrible of me, probably one of the lowest points in my life. But that's what I needed. That's what I needed to finally be like, hang on, this isn't worth it. This trying to live like an outlaw just is not worth it. I've lived with mental health problems for most of my life too, and I don't think I was quite ready to face it at the time. But realizing that some girl's death had become an event to me, I just thought, something needs to change. I can't say I'm doing too brilliantly today, but I definitely am better than I was. Most people wouldn't even know I'd ever been homeless by looking at me. But although that part of my life seems almost like it happened to someone else now, I still have the memories of those screams to remind me that it was very, very real. Yikes. Team Galactic. Yeah, I don't know. Like all of the random ones where they're just like these weird sort of like glibbly gobbly like gang. I mean, they're not even. That's always the weird thing to me in Pokemon is like, what's up? We're like a borderline gang / cult that are adults that will do anything in our power to secure the most powerful, legendary destroyer of the world Pokemon who, whenever their two powers smash together, it creates fucking molten lava. Unfortunately, we were just beaten by a fucking 9-year-old, and we can no longer continue our world domination process. So, you're gonna have to find somebody else to. I don't know. Them's the rules, though. We live by a very specific tenet as an evil gang. Which, you know, mad respect to every gang in Pokemon having that kind of restraint to not just pull out a fucking pistol or something. Barbie. With the 30 big ones, the notification didn't go off, so I apologize for that. I'll have to twerk for myself. I'm sorry, normally the music is like popping. It says, hey Joel, have you heard Possessed Radio yet? This kid is good. Also, my daughter Emma is MIA. Tell her to come home. I could get lucky and she'll be listening. This mama can't take more heartache. Oh, okay. Well, Emma, please do come home to your mother. I apologize to hear that, Barbie, and sorry the twerk music didn't go off. That's weird. Normally the notification. Oh, there it is. Yo, yo, yo. Beep, bop, 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 bop. Making it clap. Those are my butt cheeks. I'm very coordinated with them whilst twerking. But thank you again, Barbie, for 30. That's huge, and I really do hope that your daughter Emma returns home. That's, you know, hopefully it's just a little brief thing there. I don't know the full context of that, but I have not heard Possessed Radio. I'll have to try to remember that here. Maybe I can look it up on YouTube real quick. Possessed Radio. Possessed Radio, 708 subs. Midwest Creepypasta. Yeah, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's nice to see people like, you know what I mean, popping up, trying different things. You know who's been doing some crazy high quality stuff is Dark Somnium. I don't know if you guys listen to Dark Somnium, but like I'll listen to him from time to time, catch up on some of his stuff, and like just the audio quality sounds so good. Like it's like actually like audio productions that you hear back in the day and stuff. It's wild. He's got really cool visuals. He just puts a lot of work into always like getting better. I feel like as a a video producer and a music producer, and obviously a production coordinator of YouTube stuff, and just generally all around entertaining. But thank you again for the 30, Barbie. Thank you. Anime and Weirdness with 5 says, Ava needs to go to sleep now. Let's tell her that the astronaut is watching and is great friends with Santa. Oh yeah. I am the astronaut is very good friends with Santa. And I've heard she is going to be getting probably a Nintendo. I don't know. I'm sorry. I have to check with Santa. I don't know. Maybe a new pony, or a freaking Segway, or maybe like actual magic, like an actual magic wand. I can guarantee that. A wand that literally does actual magic, but the only thing that the magic works really well with is it's going to require a lot of imagination. So, if you're very imaginative, magic is real. And you can make it real. But you need the magic wand. That's the thing. Also, I have 3 Mustang cars. Triples. I always keep triples in case one goes bad. But so I usually have doubles, but triples is safest. I have triples of every car. I collect every car. I'm also married, and my wife asked me to marry me. She's a supermodel. She's always on the go, but she asked to marry me, and she got on one knee and asked me. Maybe she got on 2. I don't remember. We'll have to check. Ask her. Okay, so the Screams, that one with the screaming lady and the thing, and then this one, number 7. Oh wait, did they say Satan? That the astronaut knows Satan? Satan Claus? No, not Satan. Sorry, Santa. Okay. It's an anagram. Pimp My Ride with Santa. That would be dope. Did they ever do that on that show? Savannah, sorry to hear about your grandma. I'm sorry about that. The ice cream isn't open on Mondays? What? Yeah. Okay. Ice cream. Back in 2015, I was working in this super high-income mountain town up in Colorado. I could only barely afford rent, even with 2 different jobs up. But since I was only there for like a month and it was only through July and August, I figured I'd turn the whole thing into an extended camping trip, which is about 50% a great idea and about 50% an awful idea. But God didn't make for some awesome experiences. Some awesome ones and some pretty terrifying ones too. So the job I'm in, you work short-term. Why do I always do that? Short-term contracts. When I was working outside, I worked at short-term contracts. You just got engaged after 14 years. Just had to say it, you're so excited. Well, Toxic, congratulations. That's 14 years, holy shiz. Yeah, at that point, you're pretty much like domestic partners or something. Isn't that a thing? Like if you, well, I guess here you didn't live together or whatever, but. Ooh! 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 Ow! Eat! Ow! Oof! My back. This trying to maneuver this fucking dump truck of an ass. When Carrie drops a big $50 Canadian, says early Christmas cheer from Canada. Thank you, Carrie, for the maple, sear hip, doll hairs. Can you see a picture of my cat? That is, you can probably find one on Twitter. But Carrie, thank you. Whenever I'm like twerking and that dump truck's going, you know what I mean? I just like, sometimes I can like feel, I actually don't even need a chiropractor because my dump truck just like bounces so hard that it actually drags my spine down a little bit and just like decompresses everything. You can hear it like, there it goes right there. Did you hear it? Ooh. So a lot of people kind of like sit and they turn their back to crack it. I just do a little twerking. Hitsubasa with this, what are you, Elmer Fudd? I smell wabbits. Oh, with the mispronunciations. I don't even remember. Wascally wabbits. Wascally wabbits. I don't know. I can't do Elmer Fudge. Elmer Fudge's fudge. But thank you guys again. You were oh so generous. So I'm in the job. Okay. I got shit in my eye. I got literal feces in my eye. Oh boy. Here we go. So, the job I'm in, you work short-term contracts. It's tough work and it's a real work hard, play hard kind of attitude. So you drink every night after work, even if you don't have the cash. Someone will just buy for you, then expect you to pay it forward. Anyways, we get trashed, stay at this bar until closing time, then when we get kicked out, we go our separate ways. Him heading back to whatever roach-infested motel he'd booked himself, and me heading back to the majestic freedom of my one-man tent, or that's just what I told myself anyways. So I'm walking back to my tent, just going to town on some gyros? Is that how you say it? Gyros? Let me look this up. I never know how to pronounce it. I think it's gyros. Gyros. You gotta say it with a hard hack of the lung. Gyros. I don't think it's German. It might be Hungarian. Gyros. Whatever, we'll just say gyros. Santa Claus, I do. Oh yeah, we are at 600 people. Welcome, friends. So, I'm walking back to my tent, just going to town on some gyros. Good Greek food in Colorado, who knew? Then I climb into my tent, lie on top of my bag, and drift off to sleep. The next thing I know, and this was like an actual monster movie or something, I wake up to these big crunches of twigs and stuff, as something big is obviously moving around my tent. Immediately I think bear, and I'm right. Just from its grunts, I can hear that it was probably a black bear. The thing must have smelled my gyros from like 5 miles away and just honed in on me like a pork-seeking missile or something. I still thank God that it didn't come around to the front of my tent, which I, like a complete idiot, had forgotten to close up. Instead, the bear sticks its muzzle into the material of my tent like inches from my face. It was one of the singular most horrifying moments of my life, waking up to that thing literally sniffing me out. I did the only thing I could think of, and it sounds incredibly goofy in retrospect, but I booped it. I booped that bear's snout as hard as I could, then just waited for it to tear through my tent and eat my face off. But it worked. I scared the bear with a boop. I didn't sleep a single wink that night. In fact, I think it was about 20 minutes or so before I just packed my stuff up, threw it into my trunk, then drove. I know, not proud of it, over my buddy's motel. Sorry, I think these super long sentences confuse the shit out of me. I didn't sleep a single wink that night. In fact, I think it was about 20 minutes or so before I just packed up my stuff and threw it into my trunk, then drove over to my buddy's motel to see if there was any rooms free. There weren't. So I slept in my trunk, in the parking lot, then talked to my buddy into letting me share his room the following morning. Definitely not my most dignified moment, but better than running into that black bear again. It was more of a bonk. Not so much as a boop, more of a bonk. More of a boinked. I boinked it. You have no chimney in the Philippines, though. Just knock. Oh, if you're Santa, okay. Yeah, how did he come to your house? You guys probably have to rely on Jeff Bezos to deliver your presents. It's so weird. There's like some quarterbacks within the NFL that are just, how are they still there? You know what I mean? Like, what is it about playing quarterback that people just like, teams are just like super comfortable with just keeping the same quarterback as their main guy just like forever. But then I realized that there is something important to the quarterback position as far as like their leadership skills go. Even if they're not like the most mobile, if they're like intelligent, they're familiar with the offense, they're familiar with just like being that like head guy, I can kind of understand why the money is sort of there. And there's also a marketability to that too for the teams, where a lot of people come because they love the franchise quarterback that's kind of like running the show. Sort of a bit of centralized focus and worship, I suppose. Oh yeah, Steve Bonk. Is Steve here? Has he bonked a bear before? Or boinked one? Way back when I was homeless, there was this local homeless shelter I would stop to get food at, and sometimes, if you were lucky enough to get there in time, you could get a bed for the night. Only because of the rough neighborhood it was in, if you walked all the way down there for a bed for the night and couldn't get one, you were basically stuck in one of the worst areas of the city until you would... Only because of the rough neighborhood it was in, if you walked all the way down there for a bed for the night and couldn't get one, you were basically stuck in one of the worst areas of the city until you could escape it on foot. Other homeless people might try and rob you. Some guy got knifed in front of me one time, and if you tried to bed down there, there was a good chance some drunk idiots would come along and kick the life out of you just for fun. But by far the worst thing I ever saw while walking out of that area one night, when I was using the alleys to try to not... What? No boinking bears. Alright, do not boink a bear, guys. Word of advice. Yeah, anybody who comes and tries to, like, maybe you have somebody like a... Say, maybe I end up as, like, that sleep paralysis demon that's sitting on your chest at night. Just boot my snoot, and I'll leave. Barbie with the 10 says, I just realized this is your last live stream this month. I commit to $100 a month for the creators who keep me sane. Here's your last... Oh, well, thank you, Barbie. I had no idea that was the case, but I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. And you guys keep me sane, too. You know, it's a mutual beneficiation. Your music hates me. My music? What do you mean? Oh wait, it did play. It's sometimes you guys might notice that there's might be delays. Like you might have to refresh the stream. Like if you click the refresh button, it might take you to, you know, it might take you to the exact time of the stream, because sometimes people will like be waiting for me to respond to the donations, and like last time someone donated a lot and I felt really bad because like they donated but they said they weren't hearing me saying anything, and I was responding, but I think they just needed to refresh the stream to for it to be like in sync with the chat, you know what I mean? And then, you know, if people aren't like super familiar with like technology and stuff, I can see how it could create like a degree of offense, you know. Oh yeah, like Kingdom Cali, I guess. Yeah, you started the stream from the beginning, which you can do too. And anybody who wants to watch the old streams, there's like a stream playlist also, live stream playlist you can click on that's unlisted, but you can find it in the playlist. Turtle says the sheer weight and mass of Joel's huge dumpy creates a black hole. This is true. Every time I twerk, it just like pulls like dark matter with it, which like stretches the space-time continuum out a little bit. It's also very stinky. Oh, it stinks so good. Fuck. Okay. What the fuck was I doing? Reading scary stories or something? Gross. Other homeless people might try and rob you, blah blah blah, but by far the worst thing I ever saw. Okay. But by far the worst thing I ever saw was... Fuck. God damn it. Dork matter. Yeah. But by far the worst I ever saw was while walking out of that area one night when I was using the alleys to try and not attract attention, and out of nowhere, I started hearing this weird, like, grunting sound, so I doubled back to check it out. At the back of an abandoned lot, I saw this crazy animal of a man, naked from the waist down, on top of someone who I assume was a woman, thrusting on top of them. Every couple of seconds, he would stop to throw a punch. The woman was unconscious, completely limp, and both her and the guy's fists were covered in blood. I yelled out to him to stop, then he just turned to look at me. I've seen a lot of real messed up things in my life, but that look in his eyes was beyond animalistic. It was like the lights were on, but no one was home, you know? And the way the orange security light was reflecting off them made him look even more inhuman. I was so scared. I wanted to do something, but all I could bring myself to do was run to the nearest payphone to call the cops. I know that makes me sound like a coward, and that I should have stopped the guy because now the girl could be dead for all I know. But I just didn't know what else to do. There could be 2 dead people, and I don't think this way anymore, but for a while after, I thought it might be better to be a dead hero than live like a coward how I feel now. I just hope whoever it was that he was hitting is doing okay these days. Some people never find a way off the streets, but some do, and I hope she was one of those. As for the guy, there's not a punishment in hell too good for him, and I hope he got his karma in the end. Yikes. Lauren NASCAR with the 10 says, wish I could donate more to make the avatar to work, but I can make it a b-boy. Make it a b-boy? What's a b-boy? Like breakdance? Oh, the breakdancing. Yeah, lol. No worries, Lauren. Thank you for the 10. Seriously. These streams, it's just like, it's all just like, you guys are amazing. Seriously. How can I just turn that voice on? I don't know. I don't really... Is there a big difference? I'm not even sure. Joel needs earthquake insurance. I do, for my house. I'm surprised you guys can't hear like all the plates and like ornaments and shit falling off my bookshelves every time someone donates big. It's... Whew. I must have good background noise removal going on. Because that should be quaking. Ha ha. Beautiful snow tonight. Nice. You got 5 inches of snow. We got a little snow yesterday. It was gone by the time the sun came out. It was a little wet. A little wet. Wet. The ground got its whistle whettened. Wheaten. Got wet. Anna He with the 2 says, ooh woo, ooh woo, ooh woo, ooh woo, oh woo, oh woo, oh woo, oh woo. Excuse me. Oh man. Every time I twerk, it's just like I'm like in the basement. You can see like the. Remember in those movies where they're like in some sort of fucking bunker and a bomb goes up on like the surface and you see like the dust fall from the ceiling. That's what happens with me. Ooh. You're requesting a refund? Well, you made me do it. You made me do it. wonder if you can. I wonder if that's possible on YouTube, requesting a refund. Cool Whip. I made this throwaway account because I don't want this associated with my regular one since I got my life back together. A few years back, I used to, how do you put it, sell services to guys via Instagram, which helped me get out of being homeless after a few months. It's not something I ever thought I'd end up doing, but I was desperate to get out of my predicament, and so I did what I had to do. I'm definitely not the worst looking girl, and when I had long hair, that attracted a lot of old men, some lonely, some a little weirder. I never really had problems with other homeless people because I stayed in a local city shelter at night and had to leave during daytime. Hanging around convenience stores and parking lots where they have game rooms, slot machine rooms as they say, is where I got most of my clients. Most of them were chill, get what they want and leave. But some of them were crazy. One guy in particular wanted me to stay at his place overnight and spend the next day with him for $1,000. I decided okay. It was a lot of money for one night, so we went over to his place. Turned out the guy had what I can only describe as a torture dungeon in his garage. He had some type of black filament. He had some filet mignon. Oh yeah, Hawk, did you build an igloo? Hey Heidi, what's up? Yeah, what's your fireplace run on, Hawk? Do you use wood? You've been chopping wood all summer, getting ready? Storing up your nuts? Or worms, I suppose. Had some type of black filament with egg cartons all over the walls and some really weird stuff laying around. I decided it wasn't a good idea and said I'd change my mind. Fuck. I decided it wasn't a good idea and said I'd change my mind, telling him I wasn't into that kind of stuff, but he wouldn't let me leave. We were yelling back and forth for a while, and that's when he punched me in the collarbone. I just kind of froze for a second, like, oh no, and punched him back as hard as I could, right in the face. What followed was a chase all the way through his house, right back to the front door. Twice he caught up with me. The first time I managed to kick him away, then the second time he almost got on top of me to choke me. His blood and spit were dripping on my face as he screamed about how he was going to kill me, how no one would care about a cheap, well, you get the idea. How I managed to get out of there, I don't know. I just kept fighting the whole time and somehow ended up outside in the street. Then I just remember running and running until I could find a safe place to get myself together. The worst thing was, when I saw a cop car, my first thought was to run and hide again because I didn't know if this guy had called it an assault or whatever. But this evil SOB was planning on doing God knows what with me in his garage. But no, it was me that had to worry about getting arrested. I'm just glad I'm able to put all that behind me now. But I'd be lying if I said I don't constantly think about those that haven't been able to. I want to get involved in a homelessness charity or something, maybe some kind of outreach program, because every so often I think about those sorts of things and think, that could just as easily have been me. Does Pradeep like belly rubs? He does, yeah. He's obsessed with them. He likes all the rubs. But he doesn't like belly rubs with my foot for some reason. Like if I use my foot to rub his belly, he like takes that as an indication that he should bite my feet. Like this Pradeep hates feet. He's very discriminatory against the Tootsies. It's sad. It's sad, really. Oh shit. Okay. Oh man. Oh, wiener. Broken Kitten, take care. Have a good night. Hawk, you use wood? Nice. Savannah Bar, you is back. Welcome back. Welcome back, gamers. There he is. Little boy. They want to know if you like your belly rub. Is this true? Is this true? You need me to show you my feet? It's gonna cost ya. Okay. Born on March 20th of 1988 in Mexico City, Itzcoatl Ocampo. The fuck? I can't pronounce this name. Itzcoatl. What? Itzcoatl? Really? Huh. Itzcoatl? Anybody from Nahuatl? Itzcoatl. I feel like that's... Damn, unlucky. How do they have it on there, but it's like... Burger King. Ocampo. Okay. Poop. 1 second. Forvo's really nice, but it's like sometimes there's just people will post them there and I feel like I don't even know what they're saying. Huh. Okay. It's Kotal, do you think? I don't know. I'm just gonna go with that. Whatevs. Sometimes in life you just gotta whatevs it. What is your favorite video game you have made or ever played? I don't know. I do really enjoy the Mario games, like as far as just the experience that you have when you play it. I mean, I was obsessed with Pokemon. I'm curious how many hours I had in that when I was a kid. I had a lot of hours in Battlefield Bad Company 2, Rainbow Six, Vegas 2, Halo 2, all the 2s. Halo 2, Electric Boogaloo. Born on March 20th of 1988 in Mexico City, Itzcoatl Ocampo was the oldest son of 2 Mexican migrants who eventually came to settle in the Orange County suburb of Yorba Linda. Once again. Jose, what's poppin'? Or no. Yorba Linda? Shit. Is that a place? Yorba Linda, California? Yorba Linda. Oh, Yorba Linda. Oh, they're right next to each other on the keyboard, I see. Do you think it's Yorba Linda? Joel created Pokemon, I did. It was a manifestation of my outward desire to collect bugs. Who eventually came to settle in the Orange County suburb of Yorba Linda. Fuck. Who eventually came to settle in the Orange County suburb of Yorba Linda, California. After spending the first 12 years of his life in the state, his parents gained American citizenship for both of them and their penis. Do I like Final Fantasy X? I did play through Final Fantasy like 10 using a Game Shark, but then I got to a part because I just wanted to play the story and I wasn't good enough at like age 10 to like micromanage all of the stuff that you needed to make it happen. So I just like would use Game Sharks where you would like kill whatever enemy in like one hit. But I really enjoyed the story. It was just like very immersive as a kid. But then I got to a point where I actually had to do something very specific that wasn't just like one shot kill something, and it just created all sorts of problems. And then none of my characters were like leveled up, so when I turned off that Game Shark, I was just like screwed. What story are we on? We're on story 10 of 10. Chim Pokemon. Oh, yeah. Who eventually came to settle in the Orange County suburb of Yorba Linda, California. After spending the first 12 years of his life in the state, his parents gained American citizenship for both of them. And fucking Jesus, why can't I say this shit? Y'all crazy. No, don't put phone numbers in the chat. You can't do that. It's illegal. Joe Biden made it illegal. And you gotta abide by the law. After spending the first 12 years of his life in the state, his parents gained American citizenship for both them and their children, and Itzcoatl would go on to graduate from Anaheim's Esperanza. What the fuck? There's like too many words on earth. Citizenship. And Itzcoatl would go on to graduate from Anaheim's Esperanza. Bojiden. Don't put your phone numbers. No phone numbers. And Itzcoatl would go on to graduate from Anaheim's Esperanza High School in the summer of 2006. His high school friends would later remember Ocampo as a warm and friendly young man, and it was this demeanor that won him many friends during his education. But something happened during his school years that had a profound effect on Ocampo. The attack on New York's Twin Towers in September of 2001. Following what proved to be one of the most devastating terrorist attacks in world history, Ocampo's friends noticed a distinct shift in his personality. He became dark and brooding, fostering an intense interest in the politics of the Republican Party, and particularly the foreign policies of then-President George W. Bush. He was also... It was also around this time that Ocampo became the victim of a rather intense campaign of bullying by what his friends later described as a bunch of rich jocks. Whether or not this affected his decision to join the U.S. Marines is unclear, but we know that as of July 2006, he was stationed at Camp Pendleton in Oceanside, where he was attached to the 15th Regiment of the Medical and Sanitary Battalion. In 2008, Ocampo was deployed to Iraq with the 1st Supply Battalion to Iraq, but it's evident that he didn't see combat during his 8 months in country. His job was to transport water and fuel to combat soldiers deeper in the field, and although he certainly faced all the dangers presented by an active insurgency, Ocampo was never actually under fire at any point. We also know that at some point during his tour, we also know that at some point during, what the fuck is... Thanks, Shannon. We also know that at some point during his tour, there was an incident in which Ocampo pointed a loaded weapon at an Allied soldier. Although it's not clear which nationality the soldier was, Ocampo was severely punished for his indiscretion. He was demoted, docked pay, and assigned extra work duties as penance. Despite this worrying episode, Ocampo still received all the appropriate commendations for his tour, including the Iraq Campaign Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the National Defense Service Medal. His superiors apparently viewed his outburst as... Fuck. I need to, gargle. Oh, ooh, holy shit. It's like basically, at this point, it's like suddenly being possessed by the twerk demon. Just takes over me and I can't even control it. Sometimes, I had a bunch of water. Thank God I put it down because I probably would have spilled it everywhere. But Kashi P with the 7D Canadian maple syrup dollarinos says, I'm just interrupting you to buy time. Oh my god, I fell asleep. It's not fair. Ooh, ooh. You fell asleep, huh? I suppose that means I've done my job well. And perhaps you're still in a dream, and you have no idea. Greetings, dreamers. It's me, Mr. X. Here to replace Let's Read. Also, don't forget, there's a chance to win a PlayStation 5 bundle here by joining the Chilling app. But thank you, Kashi. Thank you so much. Sorry you fell asleep. But as you know, you can watch these streams later in the streams playlist. So don't even fret. Bourgeoisie. That's okay. I shall. Yeah, you're right. No worries about the pronunciazione. With a heap and pile of pronunciazione. Special voice for the outro. You'll have to remind me so I don't forget. Is superiors. Oh, yeah. Pradeep, don't you do it. Sometimes I can feel him like getting close. Hey, Dizzy, how are you? Sometimes I can feel Pradeep getting close to my toes because he like, I know he wants attention, and like his little way of doing it is like slowly biting me, which is funny. Sometimes he'll get me like a little bit faster, but other times he'll like put his face like near the toe, and then just like you can see his mouth like slowly opening, like, I'm gonna bite you. Lila with the 2 says, hi, this is my first time joining the stream. Hi, Lila, how are you? Welcome, welcome. We are here to indoctrinate you with some crazy ideas based around mindless groupthink. Welcome. Joel's in Gemini mode. Oh, I bet I am.
Hey, listen.
Where am I from? I'm from the United States of Earth. The coolest place on planet Neptune. Pradeep's ripping up the couch over there. It's nice of him. Jazz hands, welcome, welcome. Everybody's got like loose jewelry and rings on their fingers as they like say, hey, welcome, jazz hands. That'd be a cool instrument. Like an instrument that's like kind of like that. What's that drum that has like chimes on it and shit? You know what I'm talking about? Where they, like main singers of like 70s bands will shake that while they sing. But just imagine that, but like all over your wrists and fingers. You notice I hit my T's pretty hard at the end of certain words. Is that intentional or just quirky speech thing? I don't know. I remember my old roommate, he would like pronounce his T's on stuff really hard as like a joke. But like sometimes I feel like you sort of subconsciously absorb what other people do without even realizing it. Tambourine. Tambourine, finger cymbals, finger cymbals. Tambourine from Dragon Ball? Is that a character? I doth not remember. His superiors apparently viewed his outbursts as an unfortunate but unavoidable part of serving in an active war zone. Ocampo was stressed. He acted out, but he didn't hurt anyone, and he took his punishment like a man, and it seems his later behavior is better explained by an event which occurred back in the States. After returning to Camp Pendleton, Ocampo experienced a traumatic brain injury when the latch to his 7-ton failed to lock and slammed into the back of his head. He was medically discharged at the worst possible time, right as the U.S. was falling into a recession. Ocampo struggled to find work, eventually settling for low-paid work as a landscaper All the while his life fell apart around him. He was discovered by his father. He discovered that his father was addicted to drugs, causing Ocampo's mother to divorce him. They also lost the house as a result of this addiction, and the pain this must have caused Itzcoatl is frankly immeasurable. Around July 2010, Ocampo began to show signs of complex PTSD, first noted when he began to exhibit what we might call deviant behavior. A serious factor for the deterioration of his mental health was the death of a close friend, Patino, who died on his Afghanistan... Shit. Is it Patino? Let me looky. Antonio Patino. Pacino with a C? You're kidding me. Oh, they don't even have it. Pacino. What's the... when there's like a umlaut in Spanish over top of like an N, how do you pronounce that? It's or I'll just copy paste it into the chat. How do you pronounce that? Patino. Patinio? Really? Oh, Patinio. Patinio? Patino. Okay. Sam, you were wrong. What the fuck? Or were you wrong? Or maybe you said Patinio. Sam. Oh wait, he says it again though. He's doubling down. What's the truth, Sam? You're outnumbered. Patinio. Oh, damn it. He was right. Sam was right. He's vindicated. 300 spankings for me. Joel, my friend at work, says, you know those voices that don't match the person? I feel like Let's Read does a face reveal. That's the outcome. Still not entirely sure if she knows that sounds kind of me. No, I mean, I feel that. I mean, it's impossible. It's literally impossible to, like, find someone, I think, or very unlikely to find someone who you hear over and over and over again, then you see what they look like. I've never heard someone's voice first through some form of entertainment, seen what they look like, and been like, oh yeah, makes sense. Usually, it's like I have to see them and hear them at the same time for me to just, like, create the character of who they are in my head. Wait, it's potato? Wait, should I actually have to see what it is again? Patino. Okay, we'll just say Patino. Potato. Fuck. Alright. There it is. A serious factor for the deterioration of his mental state was the death of his close friend. Oh, I didn't even fucking click it. Fuck. A serious factor for the deterioration of his mental state was the death of his close friend, Patino, who died in Afghanistan's Helmand province during combat in the summer of 2010. Following his death, Itzcoatl became depressed and increasingly dependent on alcohol. Over the next 2 years, unable to adapt to a normal life and hold a job, he depended on income from relatives and refused treatment from psychiatrists, insisting he was unqualified to be diagnosed for PTSD because he did not fight in combat. By the end of 2011, his mental state had deteriorated sharply, to the point of developing hypochondria and showing signs of clinical delirium. Then, on October 25th of 2011, Ocampo suddenly appeared on the doorstep of his old high school classmate, 24-year-old Eider Herrera. I don't know. Is it Eider? Eider? I wish I took Spanish in high school instead of German. It'd make my life so much easier. Not really, though, because I can still just look it up. Spanoosh? Is it Spanoosh or Spanish? Eider? Yeah, everything's so loose. All the pronunciation is like so loose. It's like everything's just like sliding off the tongue, like a rolling hookah. Barbie with the 5 says, "All right, Joel. See you on your next turn. Not that my piddly $100 really matters much. Thanks for helping my grief and sanity every day. Love you, love to you." Thank you, Barbie. No, I mean, I really, really appreciate your generosity. Like, it means a lot, honestly. And thank you. And I really do hope things, get better. It sounds like things are a little rough right now, but yeah, especially with your daughter. I hope she's doing okay. It's pronounced Speenish or Speenish. That's what I thought. That's what I've been saying. Spoonish. It's the people of spoons. People of the spoon. It was all they ever used back in the day for combat, things of that nature. It's the Spaniards, they would use, they were actually Spoonyards, and they would use giant spoons to sail across the ocean. What the fuck am I talking about? Alright, anyways. Then, on October 25th of 2011, Ocampo suddenly appeared on the doorstep of his old high school classmate, 24-year-old Eder Herrera. Eder lived with his 53-year-old mother, Raquel, along with his older brother, Juan, and both were present when Ocampo unexpectedly lunged at them, stabbing both Raquel and Juan more than 30 times each. The Herrera's neighbors witnessed the murders, providing police with a description of the offender's appearance and his clothing. But because Eder and Ocampo were similar in appearance, the grieving Eder was arrested in a shocking display of police negligence. Despite denying any involvement in the deaths of his mother and brother, he was still considered the main suspect when it was revealed that, shortly before the crime, he had gotten into some kind of verbal altercation with them, as per a statement from their neighbors. Just short of 2 months later, on the evening of December 21st, Ocampo was loitering around the parking lot of a shopping center in Plasencia. Plasencia. Have you guys ever been to Plasencia? It's so beautiful. Plasencia. Alright, how do you say Palace of Plasencia? Placencia? What the fuck? That's not right. Just kidding. Placencia. Okay. Just short of 2 months later, on the evening of December 21st, Ocampo was later around the parking lot. But later? Fucking penis. Fucking penis, mate. Just short of 2 months later, on the evening of December 21st, Ocampo was loitering around the parking lot of a shopping center in Placencia when he suddenly attacked a 53-year-old homeless man named James McGill. Jesus Christ. Everybody's name sucks. Everybody get rid of your name. Forever on, you just have one name. It's a first name. And that's it. And maybe like where you're from. And maybe like what your occupation is or something. I don't know. Me, I'm Joel Reed. Joel Reeds. Joel Reader. Joel Spooky Boy. McGillivray. Jesus Christ, mate. When he suddenly attacked a 53-year-old homeless man named James McGillivray. McGillivray's bloody execution by stabbing was recorded on CCTV, and the police managed to release a composite photo of the killer in the hopes of cutting Ocampo's spree short. But just a week later, Ocampo committed another murder. This time, the victim was 42-year-old homeless man Lloyd Middow. Yeah, what are your guys' names now? Now that we've changed the rules on name sayings. Middow. I'm going to say Middow. Lloyd Middow. But a week later, Ocampo committed another murder. This time, the victim was 42-year-old homeless man Lloyd Middow, who spent most of his time under a bridge crossing the Santa Ana River in Anaheim. Midal, like McGillivray, mother penis. McGillivray, Jesus Christ. Midal, like McGillivray, was found stabbed almost 60 times, as if the killer had entered some kind of frenzy that they'd struggled to come down from. 2 days later, Ocampo killed another homeless man, stabbing 57-year-old Paulus Smith more than 50 times before discarding his body in the parking lot of a public library in Yorba Linda. And by the time Ocampo killed for a fourth time, news about the homeless deaths in Orange County began to spread like wildfire among local and national media outlets. And then, in early January of 2012, several newspapers published a series of articles about the investigation into the killings. One included an article in the Los Angeles Times in which a reporter interviewed a 64-year-old Vietnam War veteran named John Barry, who spoke extremely negatively about the perpetrator and urged any potential victims to be as careful as they can in order to avoid being the next victim. Barry's words signed his own death warrant, and as a result, Ocampo traveled all the way over to Anaheim to begin stalking Barry. The following evening, Ocampo found Barry near a Carl's Jr. in Anaheim, then, after waiting for the right moment to strike, he attacked and stabbed Barry in front of dozens of witnesses, fleeing on foot after killing him. These witnesses obviously rushed to call 911, and Ocampo was arrested while trying to dispose of his bloody clothing just several hundred meters away from the crime scene. Police confiscated a 7-inch stainless steel blade from him, one that was soaked with John Barry's blood. Homicide detectives then discovered that the murder weapon matched the one in the killings of the 3 other homeless men, and Ocampo was now confirmed to be the Orange County homeless killer. Only later were the murders of his school friend's mother and brother tied to his maniacal. You're Joel Sr.? Are you my dad? Is my dad in the chat? Wait, is it Ocampo? Did I say it right? Am I saying it wrong the whole fucking time? And no one said anything. Okay, doesn't Ocampo sound wrong? Doesn't Ocampo? Ocampo? I don't fucking know, dude. Only later were the murders of his school friend's mother and brother tied to his maniacal spree, and after learning of his cruelty, Orange County District Attorney Tony Rockatacatalk. What the fuck is this name? Everyone in California is nuts, including their names, except John Barry, who said something nice and got killed. Okay, what's his name? Raucus? Rockakis. 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 I think it's Rockakis. Or Rockakis? Rockakis. It's pronounced L? Wait. What do you mean L? Like from Death Note L? Rockakis. 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 Amalia from California. Well, you guys are nuts. Y'all are crazy with your names and shit. Alright, Tony Stark. Okay, this guy's name is Tony. And after learning of his cruelty, Orange County District Attorney Tony Rockakis. Was it Rockakis? And after learning of his cruelty, Orange County District Attorney Tony Rockakis confirmed that he would seek the death penalty during the upcoming trial. Ocampo's trial was scheduled to begin on January 17th of 2014, yet on the evening of November 27th, 2013, Ocampo somehow managed to get a hold of a bottle of Ajax and was found dead after having swallowed the entire bottle. It was the coward's way out, a way of retaining the dignity that he had denied to so many others in his brief but tumultuous life. Was Itzcoatl Ocampo evil? Or was he a product of a broken society, suffering in his own personal hell, who found that killing was his one true way of getting back at a system he once had so much faith in? Redonkulous. Redonkulous pronunciations. Welcome to Redonkulous, California. Anyways, we're done with that. It is kind of weird how people become who they are. And they make a good point there about being part of like a system, to the point where you like want to join, you know what I mean? You want to join the system of all systems in the form of the military, and then I guess maybe that's sort of a manifestation of betrayal or something. Isn't Ajax a powder? Let me look. Ajax. Oh, apparently that's a soccer team. I'm sorry, football. Powder. Yeah, maybe he put it. Yeah, maybe he mixed it in his like morning protein shake or something. Who knows? Okay, we made it to the end. Let me make sure I got these all here. And I didn't forget anything. Snow. That one's about McDonald's. Screams. That one's about a bear. And that one's about oh yeah, okay, the thrusting, egg, cartons, ODing. Yeah, it's okay. I think I got them all. It's pronounced A-hacks. You're fucking kidding me. Don't even bullshit me. There's no way they would put a product on a shelf has a soft J. You'd be nuts to say otherwise. Can you say hi to my Slovakian girlfriend Sylvia? Hello, Sylvia. How's Slovakia treating you? Wait, AHAX in Spanish. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know. Is it a Spanish product, though? Or not? I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a Spanish product. Is it a... I don't fucking know. Joel. Yeah, that's how you pronounce my name. Joel. Joel. Joel? Present. Your grandma messaged Duracell earlier today. You power several things in my house, none of which... Oh, you deleted it. Damn. It's a hard J. Hard J. Whatever you feel like. Whatever you feel like saying. I don't care. But we have to read the outro. Were we going to do something funny for the outro? I forget. Savaki and Joel next video? Yeah, maybe. Your grandma messaged Duracell earlier today. You power several things in my house. None of which I can name, but thank you. Lol. That's funny. That's how I knew I started getting older, whenever I like called up Dunkin' Donut customer support. Just to say like, hey, I've got a great idea for a product. Can you bring back those keto bowls that you made? They were so good. And it was just like someone like, oh, okay, I will pass that along. And she's not going to fucking pass it along because I haven't seen him yet. I'd like to speak to the manager of Dunkin' Donuts Corporation. Will with the 25 says, thanks for all the great content. Thank you, Will, for the $25 Renos. Appreciate it. I was going to use another voice. Which one was it? Oh, yeah, like the New Yorkers. Hey, friends, thanks for listening. Yeah, we'll do that one. Make sure you finish your gabagool. I don't know. Dunkin' Donut Leto Bowls? No, keto. Oh wait, L and K are next to each other on the motherfucking... They did have keto bowls for a bit. Thank you again, Will. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. Hope you have a good night. Yeah, they had keto bowls for a while. And then there was other one where it was like more of a lighter, like egg and potato one, and it was pretty sweet. I remember going through I remember going through there, and the guy who was like the manager, who I think was like there to like, you know how there's always like one manager who clearly is like being run ragged and is like maybe a regional manager, but he's there to just like clean up the act of all of the people that work at a place. But I just remember getting like a power breakfast sandwich or something at like at Dunkin' Donuts or something, and like this guy was like, these power breakfast sandwiches probably give you a lot of energy, don't they? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. He's like, you honestly, young man, you're looking good. I think these are working out well for you. And I was like, thanks, Daddy. I'm always gonna come back here from forever on because you said a nice thing. And I did. I never left. Do I watch anime? I've watched anime. Not on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. Anime was cool. I was more into it when I was younger, though. Some people like live and die anime. Even when I was younger, like nowadays, I feel like anime is so insanely popular that like a lot of people live and die anime. But when I was younger, I watched a lot of animes without even realizing that they were like animes. You know what I mean? Even though anime's been around forever, but I don't remember as many people like living and dying for anime. Like it was like less frequent. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let's Read Official, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. If you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon. Or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered on the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends, and be sure to finish your gabagool. That was terrible, but it was funny. I've been faking this. I've been faking my voice the whole time. This is my real voice. You guys don't even realize. Who the fuck you talking to? Holy crepes. I'm a Joyzy boy. Jolzy. I'm from Jolzy. Easy to say, easy to remember. None of that soft J shit. Just kidding. Over there we eat Habahoo. Rook X, hey, with the 5 says, this man lets feed under the sand from another land. This man lets feed under the sand from another man. Thank you for being live. You should have recommended your YouTube channel to them, Dunkin' Donut 90 degree benders. I should have. I'm still waiting for the day. Maybe somebody will recognize the voice in the wild. In the wild. Anyways, thank you guys for
Hey, listen.
hanging out. It's pretty dope. Oh wow, we're at 600. Well, we were at 666 fucking viewers, which is evil. That's the evil number, guys. Remember when we told you that? Remember when you learned about Satan liking the number 666? Give me a bite of that gabagool. But yeah, hope you have a good night. As you know, this will be out on Patreon, early access, $1 a month, and stuff. And then follow me on social media, Twitter at Let's Read Creepy, Instagram at Let's Read.official. Twitter is probably the best to follow me because it kind of like keeps you up to date when like new live streams are going up, on the off chance YouTube doesn't want to fucking say shit, which is bullshit, because they should start the seance. Yes. But yeah. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being great. Yeah, get this done. Early access. Then this will be up. New videos, as you know. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, EST. Make those adjustments depending on where you are in the world. I have so many fucking people that will just randomly like comment on videos where I type like 7 p.m. EST and they're like, what time is that my time? It's like, what? I don't know where you live. Also, even if I did, like, why is it, would it not just be basic, would it not just be a basic like step to like, what time is 7 p.m. EST in British time? I don't know. It's just funny. Makes me gaggle. It makes me laugh so hard. It makes me giggle so hard. I gag. I gaggle. Okay. Anyways, love you guys. Appreciate everything. Seriously, you guys make my life a lot better. A lot better. And I hope I do the same to you. Catch you again on the next fucking stream.